Chapter 45:31. With a roar, Lin Xian's body shone with a golden light as he transformed into a peerless god of war. On the other side, the human figures, lightning surged. There was an extremely terrifying light in his eyes. Runes flickered and formed 6 reincarnation runes. 6 vortexes appeared on his body, seemingly connecting 6 worlds. Rinnegan, 6 paths physique. This was the heaven and earth great emperor. Lin Xian felt his scalp go numb. This was too terrifying. Boom! He punched out with an indomitable will, shattering the world. Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. He had seen this fist technique before. The peak great saint had used it before. This was the 6 paths fist. Lin Xian did not dare to be careless. He used the 9 suns' divine fist to resist. The two of them were like 2 worlds colliding. Endless light swept in all directions. The great Tao there was intertwining like thunder. Boom! Their fists collided, and then they both retreated. Endless cracks appeared in front of them, and then they attacked again. Every time they collided, the power was astonishing. The two of them kept attacking. 9 suns' divine body against 6 paths physique. The people in the distance were shocked. Was that guy fighting with someone? They didn't know. But this scene was probably much stronger than the immemorial king physique. Boom! This guy's physique was actually so strong. Was this the great emperor? Lin Xian felt as if his entire body was about to split open. The other party's fist was really too strong, pressing forward with indomitable will. Many cracks appeared on his divine body, but they recovered in an instant. He also roared, and 9 suns surrounded his body as he kept attacking. After a great battle, the human-shaped lightning retreated and did not attack again. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. However, he knew that it was not over, because next, an extremely terrifying light erupted from the other party's eyes. Rinnegan. At this moment, the people outside felt a chill down their spines, as if a god was looking down at them. Their souls were about to split open. Damn it, what was this? Some of the people who entered the town were shocked. This aura was too similar to the Rinnegan. Could it be that the Rinnegan had appeared? They stared at the lightning in front of them, their faces full of shock. However, no one knew exactly what had happened. They gritted their teeth anxiously. There were a few people who disregarded everything and rushed over. However, they triggered heaven overflowing lightning tribulation, blasted until their bodies were covered in blood. The others felt their blood run cold and no longer dared to rashly approach. Lin Xian felt an immense pressure on his soul. It was as if heaven and earth were being reversed, forcing him into the cycle of reincarnation. Fight! He gritted his teeth and let out a roar. His heavenly secret divine eyes shone brightly as a terrifying golden light swept across the area. At the same time, terrifying sword chi surged from his body, turning into a sword to world that floated around him. Kill! Lin Xian used all his means to resist the eye of reincarnation, the eye of samsara. Every gaze contained a danger that could reverse the universe. Lin Xian had no choice but to resist with all his strength. Even so, he was still coughing up blood and his face was pale. Fortunately, the great dragon sword soul could destroy everything. It cut off those gazes, and only then could they resist. In the end, the eye of reincarnation withdrew its light. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Was it finally over? However, he realized that there was still one last move. When the eye of reincarnation and the 6 paths physique appeared in a person, a peerless divine ability would appear. The 6 paths of reincarnation. 6 worlds surrounded Lin Xian, constantly sweeping and enveloping Lin Xian. Lin Xian seemed to have really fallen into the cycle of reincarnation. This was a heaven-defying power. Even with his divine body and heavenly secret divine eyes, he could not resist it. He roared at the sky and attacked with all his strength. The great dragon's sword soul flew out and was held in his hand, sweeping in all directions. He kept moving through the 6 worlds and finally charged out with a sword that split open the sky. His body was stained with blood, but his aura kept increasing. At this moment, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Everyone thought that the end of the world had arrived. After the 6 paths of reincarnation, the figure did not attack again. Instead, it slowly disappeared. The phantoms of the 6 worlds also disappeared. In the end, the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation flew into Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian's body shook. The injuries he had suffered before were instantly healed. His aura also kept rising. With a boom, he finally stepped into the Holy King realm. His strength continued to grow. Too powerful. Once he broke through to the Holy King realm, he would surpass everything. A Holy King could kill a half-step Holy King. One finger could kill dozens of half-step Holy Kings. This was the gap between the realms. It was an insurmountable gap. Lin Xian had a heaven-defying trump card, which was why he could fight above his level. Now that he had become a true Holy King, his strength had undergone an earth-shattering change. Those below the Holy King realm, he could probably kill them with a glance. Those of the same level could not block one move from him. Even if it was Dao Mingqian and tyranny, he could now suppress them with one hand. These people were no match for him. Lin Xian could only fight someone like Elder Lu Qin to a draw when he went all out. But now he could definitely destroy the other party's soul easily. Lin Xian felt an extremely powerful force. In other words, ordinary mid-stage Holy Kings were no match for him. Only mid-stage Holy Kings, extremely powerful existences, could. Lin Xian was even confident that he could compete with late-stage Holy Kings. This is great. Holy Monarch Star Palace, your time of death has come. Lin Xian would not forget that he still had enemies in the 1,000 Mountain Cave. This time, when he returned, he would kill them with his sword. As the figure disappeared, Qinkuan Ancient City shook again. The peerless array completely erupted. Those great holy kings also vomited blood. Not good. They attacked with all their might, tearing the array apart and escaping quickly. Run! With a roar, the surrounding people left frantically. Qinkuan Ancient City was completely sealed. Once the great emperor's array appeared, no one could resist. Run! Lin Xian transmitted his voice to Xue Qi and the Toad. He used the void escape and quickly left this place. Everyone was running away. Most of Qinkuan Ancient City was sealed and returned to the ground. The endless earth rolled and cracked. Some of them managed to escape, while others were suppressed there for all eternity. Most probably, they could forget about coming out in this lifetime. After greeting the elders, Zhan Songxing and the others were taken away by the experts. The woman's expression was cold, and the man's expression was extremely ugly. He had been severely injured before. Damn it, where was that kid? He was going crazy with anger. He must catch that kid and tear him into pieces. Just now, the aura of the Rinnegan appeared. It must be that kid. Zhan Songxing said quickly, "Wait here. I'll go and report to the old ancestor." The 2 elders quickly transmitted their voices to each other. Not long after, a great holy king arrived. It was a great holy king from the Star Tribe. After he arrived, he looked around, and a starry sky map covered the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. They felt that every star had turned into eyes and was probing them. In the distant mountain range, Lin Xian also felt a huge pressure. Chapter 4532. He instantly changed his appearance and put on a set of black armor. His aura was completely different from before, with the heavenly secret divine eyes and the great dragon sword soul. These great saints couldn't find out who he was. Sure enough, the great saints took back the starry sky map and shook their heads. They couldn't find him. Did that kid disappear? Go, send people to seal this area. I don't believe he can escape. The people of Misty Peak moved quickly. With great saints overseeing the area, they sent countless experts to seal it. However, Lin Xian had already returned to his original appearance. He used the great dragon sword soul to destroy his aura and safely walked out of the area. The Toad and Whitey stayed in the great sage tower and heaved a sigh of relief. It was too dangerous. Fortunately, you found me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to escape. Xian smiled and then soared into the sky and flew toward the 1,000-mountain cave. Xueqi had already returned and was waiting anxiously in the 1,000-mountain cave. When she saw Lin Xian return, she also heaved a sigh of relief. I'm going to cultivate in seclusion for a while. Don't let them disturb me. After Lin Xian returned, he started to cultivate in seclusion again. He had just broken through to the Saint King realm and needed to consolidate his cultivation. Xueqi ordered that no one was to disturb him and set up a formation. This time, she had also gained something. Before she started cultivating in seclusion, Lin Xian gave her many treasures. Therefore, she also started to cultivate in seclusion. In the blink of an eye, half a year passed. During this half a year, the news about Qinkuan City spread everywhere. Everyone was talking about the Rinnegan Eye and the legend of the great emperor. However, no matter how hard they searched, they still couldn't find the mysterious red-robed man. It was as if he had disappeared and would never appear again. The people of the 1,000-mountain cave suffered heavy losses. The Misty Peak was so angry that they vomited blood. Many of their geniuses died, and even a few of their elders died. Some of their elders were also injured. More importantly, the 10 great sages had been able to fight back against the Grand Emperor's spell formation. Although it was only a corner of the Great Emperor's formation, the 10 great saints were still injured. Now, they were cultivating in seclusion. The legend of Qinkuan City was still ongoing. On Lin Xian's side, everything was calm and tranquil. Xueqi's mansion had already regained its tranquility. On this day, the winds and clouds changed. Lightning fell from the sky. Who was it? Was he about to break through? The people in the mansion were extremely surprised. Immediately after, a sky full of lightning descended, shaking the 9 heavens. Even the paradises people were alarmed. Could it be that Xueqi was about to make another breakthrough? How long had it been? And the other party was already about to make a breakthrough. They felt like they were going crazy. In another palace, Xueqi and Lin Xian were sitting there and drinking tea. They seemed quite relaxed. The lightning tribulation was formed by the 2 of them using a formation. This was because Lin Xian had previously been Holy Venerate. When he returned, he would be a holy ruler. He had to find an explanation. Therefore, the lightning array formation this time was Lin Xian's excuse. He wanted everyone to know that he had become a Saint King in the 1,000-mountain grotto. This way, no one would suspect that he was the red-robed man. In the past half a year, Lin Xian had already consolidated his cultivation. Moreover, he had also absorbed the reincarnation power. Now, the reincarnation power contained in his heavenly secret divine eyes was even greater. He was overjoyed. The lightning tribulation lasted for half a month before it slowly disappeared. Many people rushed over to congratulate him. They quickly discovered that it wasn't Xueqi who had made a breakthrough, but Lin Xian. This surprised many people. Damn it! Did this guy also become a holy king? The eyes of some paradise's geniuses turned red. They were so angry that they almost vomited blood. They hadn't even made a breakthrough. Yet this battle servant had already made a breakthrough? Damn it! It must be Xueqi who gave him countless resources that allowed him to make a breakthrough so quickly. He's just a battle servant, yet he's really lucky. If those resources were given to me, I would have already made a breakthrough. All of them gnashed their teeth as they spoke. However, they couldn't do anything about it. Sure enough, no one doubted Lin Xian. After all, Lin Xian had come here from another world, which meant that his talent was top-notch. If he had the countless resources that Xueqi gave him, it wouldn't be a problem for him to break through to the Holy King realm. Sacred King Xing Chen's face darkened when he heard this news. It seemed that he had underestimated his opponent. In his estimation, it was impossible for his opponent to break through to the Holy King realm so quickly. Who would have thought that his opponent would actually do it? This made him feel a sense of crisis. However, after thinking about it, he sneered. He was now a mid-stage Holy King, but he was still a terrifying existence. In another 100 years, he would be able to break through to the late-stage Holy King realm. So what if his opponent had made a breakthrough? If he wanted to kill an early-stage Holy King realm expert, he could do it with a single finger. His opponent would never be his opponent. However, the abominable news came from the Misty Peak. The people that the Star Tribe had sent to kill him had all died. It was really strange. Could it be that someone from the Thousand Mountain Paradise was secretly helping him? Sacred King Xingchen was ready to investigate. Now that a year's time was almost up, he wanted to see how his opponent would kill him. Sacred King Xingchen's lips curled into a smile. He hadn't forgotten that his opponent had threatened to fight him in a year's time. What a stupid ant! There were still 2 months' time. Sacred King Xingchen decided to make some preparations. He had to release the news and create an atmosphere so that everyone in the Thousand Mountain Paradise would know about this duel. Otherwise, if his opponent reneged on the deal, it would be difficult for him to make a move. Soon, he secretly got someone to release the news. 3 days later, everyone in the Thousand Mountain Paradise was stunned. Heavens, what did you say? Sacred King Xingchen was going to have a death match with Lin Xian? This isn't a joke, right? No, you're wrong. Lin Xian was going to have a death match with Sacred King Xingchen. It was these guys who issued the challenge. Moreover, it was a year ago. Damn, is this guy crazy? Where did his confidence come from? Does he think that he's a match for Sacred King Xingchen after breaking through? Discussions broke out one after another. Countless people were shocked. This was a scene of death. After some elders heard this, they sneered. It seemed that Sacred King Xingchen would also kill. Otherwise, he wouldn't have let the news spread. The eyes of the sagely heaven's old ancestors, people lit up when they heard this. This was a good opportunity to suppress the other party. Although they had helped Lin Xian win the duel, it didn't mean that they would always support Lin Xian. Lin Xian was now considered to be on Black Ice ancestor side, so they naturally had to suppress him. Taking advantage of this opportunity to get rid of this brat, it would be a heavy blow to Black Ice ancestor. Thinking of this, their eyes shone with a cold light. Chapter 45:33. If he killed Lin Xian, Xueqi would definitely get angry and seek revenge on the sacred star ruler. Then he would find an opportunity to kill Xueqi. In that case, the genius of the mysterious ice lineage would lose his advantage. The corners of the Yen Mo's mouth curled up into a cold smile. He hurriedly informed his father, the Sacred Heaven Old Ancestor. The Sacred Heaven Old Ancestor was still in seclusion. He had also made a move in the Qinkuan ancient city and gotten injured. When he heard the news, he said, "I'll leave this matter to you. When it's time for the death match, I'll go back and take a look." The Yen Mo received the order and went to make the arrangements. Before long, the people of the Thousand Mountain Grotto and the other grotto heavens found out about this matter. They even invited people from other grotto heavens to watch. In an instant, the discussion about this matter became even more intense. Hearing this, Xian Hai's face changed. Although he was very opposed to this marriage, he was still very much against it. He wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Xian with his own hands. However, things were different now. Lin Xian had already won the contest. If he was killed by the sacred star ruler in front of everyone, it would be a huge slap to their faces. Furthermore, they also realized that the sacred star ruler wasn't the only one involved. The Yen Mo and the Sacred Heaven Old Ancestor were also involved. This was even more unusual. If things didn't go well, they might be trampled underfoot by the other party. It would be very difficult for them to make a comeback. Xian Hai immediately went to Xue Qi's residence. He felt that this was a trap, so he went to ask if it was true. When he found out that it was really Lin Xian who had issued the challenge, he was completely enraged. Was this kid an idiot? Who did he think he was to challenge the sacred star ruler? Kid, I'll give you a chance. Hurry up and leave this area by using the spatial array. Come back in 10 years. Xian Hai roared. No matter what, he wouldn't let Lin Xian die in the arena. Lin Xian sneered. Get lost? Who did you think you were? How dare you order me around? If the other party hadn't been Xue Qi's father, he would have already made a move. Xian Hai was even more furious. How dare you speak to me with such an attitude? Do you have a death wish? The sky was filled with killing intent. Lin Xian sneered. This is my business. You don't have to worry about it. Besides, who said that I don't have the strength to kill him? Open your eyes wide and wait. I will make him fall on the deathmatch stage. Ignorant ants. Xian Hai was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Could it be that this brat did not know the difference between Saint Kings? Do you think you can be arrogant just because you just broke through? How naive. Lin Xian sneered. He couldn't be bothered with this old man. Xue Qi walked out and said, Father, don't worry. There shouldn't be any problems. Xian Hai was about to faint from anger. How could his daughter say such words? Could it be that he had become stupid after following this kid? He snorted coldly, waved his sleeves, and left in a huff. He had to discuss this with Black Ice Ancestor. It would be best if she could seal this brat and suppress him. Black Ice Ancestor was also in seclusion. Previously, she had gone to Qinkuan Ancient City and was also injured. When he heard this, he had no choice but to come out of seclusion. This was indeed a very urgent matter. He ordered Xian Hai to seal this brat and bring him over. When Xian Hai returned to his mansion, he found that Lin Xian had disappeared. That damned brat, did he run away? Xian Hai sneered. He thought that this brat had a backbone. He didn't expect him to be a coward. It was good that he ran away. If he ran away, he wouldn't come back. He ordered his men to go and investigate. Once they found that brat in Thousand Mountain Grotto, they would immediately take action. If that brat wanted to come in from outside Thousand Mountain Grotto, they would immediately stop him. In short, they would not let Lin Xian appear again. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. A deathmatch arena was set up in Thousand Mountain Grotto. It became completely lively and countless people were extremely excited. They were all here to watch a joke. Previously, all of them had dreamed of marrying Fairy Xue Qi. Who would have thought that they would be defeated by Lin Xian in the martial competition for marriage? This made everyone gnash their teeth in anger. If young Master Qin had won back then, they wouldn't have said anything because he did have the strength and talent. However, he was defeated by a battle servant. This made them clench their teeth so hard that they almost broke. Countless times, they wanted to take revenge and kill him with their own hands. Now, this brat was courting death and dared to challenge the elders of Star Palace. He even wanted to fight a death match. He was definitely going to die. Even if they couldn't do anything, they had to watch him die with their own eyes. Not only Thousand Mountain Grotto, but the young geniuses of other grotto heavens also came. They also came to watch a joke. Even the people of Misty Peak came. They were the people of Misty Peak and Star Clan. Young Master Qin came personally, and even Dugu Ju came from before. Thousand Mountain Grotto was also shocked. The elders came out to welcome them. 2 great saints also came out. Although they hadn't recovered from their injuries, they came from Misty Peak. They had to come out. Countless people had gathered in one place. This scene was even more lively than the previous competition. How many moves do you think that brat can take? What a joke. That brat will definitely die. He can't even take 1 move. He is really an idiot. Does he think that he can be arrogant just because he has become a Saint King? Let's see how he will die this time. Cold laughter could be heard. The elders and experts in the surroundings also had different expressions. Some were laughing coldly, while others were worried. Xueqi stood there expressionlessly. She believed that Lin Xian wouldn't be defeated. Right at this moment, a figure flew over from afar. He was like a god, and he carried the stars in the sky with him. He landed on the deathmatch arena. Countless people exclaimed. When the people of Star Clan saw this, they nodded slightly. This brat's strength had increased again. It seemed like he wasn't far from breaking through to the late stage of Saint King. Before this, they didn't think highly of Elder Star Palace. They didn't expect that his talent would exceed their expectations. It seemed like they could call him back to his family after this death match. The elders of Star Clan nodded slightly. Young Master Chin clenched his fists. He wanted to see that brat die with his own eyes. When Lin Xian died, Xueqi would still be his. After Elder Star Palace arrived, he stood there with his hands clasped behind his back, waiting silently. He wore a confident smile. With his strength, he could end this battle in just a second. Half a day passed, and the sun rose high in the sky, illuminating the land. However, there was only Elder Star Palace in the deathmatch arena. Lin Xian didn't appear. The crowd was getting impatient. What the F***CK? Where is that brat? Hasn't he come out yet? What is he doing? Could it be that he was afraid? It can't be. He issued a challenge, and now he's afraid of going back on his word? What a joke! Even if I have to capture him, I will capture him and bring him to the arena. Many people were discussing this. Yan Mo sneered coldly, and he led his men to search for Lin Xian quickly. However, they searched the entire 1,000-mountain cave, but they didn't find Lin Xian. Darn it! Did that brat run away? The crowd went into an uproar. They had come to watch the show, but that brat had run away. Elder Star Palace sneered coldly. He is really a piece of trash. Chapter 4534. Elder Yan Mo said coldly, "Pass down the order to search for Lin Xian. Kill him if you see him." A cold voice sounded. Xian Hai frowned, but he didn't say anything. As long as he wasn't in the arena today, they could accept it even if he ran away. Xueqi stood out and said coldly, "Elder Yan Mo, you're too impatient. You said that there would be a battle to the death today, but you didn't say when. Only half a day had passed. Don't you have any patience?" Yan Mo sneered. It seemed like Xueqi was optimistic about this battle. "Fine, I'll continue to wait. It's just a day. What's the big deal?" After a day, Lin Xian's fate wouldn't change. Since Yan Mo had spoken, the others also waited patiently. In the end, when the sun was about to set, everyone thought that Lin Xian would definitely not return. But at this moment, a figure appeared in the sky. He was very fast. At first, he was still far away, but in the blink of an eye, he was already in the sky. Countless people exclaimed as they raised their heads. "It's that kid. He's finally here. Is he here?" Young Master Chin and the others' eyes lit up, and they smiled coldly. On the arena, Elder Xing Chen's eyes flickered. He really doesn't know what death is. Fine, I'll send him to help personally. On the other side, Xian Hai's pupils shrank. How is it possible? Why is he here again? Damn it! Didn't my subordinate stop him? He wanted to say something, but it was too late. Buzz! Lin Xian descended from the sky and landed on the arena. Boundless aura swept out in all directions. "Kid, I didn't expect you to dare to come again. I think your brain is completely broken. I'll send you to help personally." Elder Xing Chen's eyes shone with cold light as he stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian smiled and said, "Oh, why? Have you been waiting here for a long time? Are you really that impatient to die? I'll fulfill your wish." Lin Xian took a step forward, and his body emitted a powerful aura. The aura of a sage king spread out in all directions. Countless people were shocked. Did this kid break through? The eyes of some of the powerful beings from the grotto heavens turned red instantly. Damn it, he was just a Saint Venerable not long ago, and now he has broken through to become a Saint King. Even geniuses like them couldn't achieve such a breakthrough speed. The aura of a Saint King was indeed very strong. He had the right to be arrogant among the younger generation. Unfortunately, you found the wrong opponent. I'm not someone you can challenge. Sacred Star Monarch shook his head. Make your move. I'll give you a chance to go all out. Otherwise, you won't have the chance to fight again in this lifetime. A good show was about to begin. Countless eyes lit up. Xue Qi was also nervous. Although Lin Xian was powerful, Elder Xingqian was equally terrifying. This was a veteran Saint King. Moreover, he was already close to the late stage of the Saint King stage. You want me to make the first move? Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Then I won't stand on ceremony. He formed a seal with his palms, and a bright light burst out. The man-ruler's seal slammed forward. Boom! Boom! His power erupted. Instantly, countless people cried out in surprise. It was too powerful. This kid had just broken through to become a Saint King, and he was already so terrifying. Elder Xingqian was also shocked. His opponent's strength was beyond his imagination. The man-ruler seal had already arrived in front of him and slammed down. His aura erupted again. Get lost! Elder Xingqian shouted angrily. He pointed out a finger. An ray of starlight streaked across. Boom! 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 The sound of mountains collapsing and the earth cracking could be heard in front of him. Fortunately, the life and death arena was an ancient lightning platform. Therefore, it wasn't damaged. However, the surrounding people quickly retreated. Some of the young geniuses even vomited blood. They couldn't withstand this power at all. After this attack, countless people were in an uproar. They found that Elder Xingqian had been forced back. How could this be? Elder Xingqian was forced to retreat. Damn it, he was careless. He must have been careless. Countless roars sounded. The faces of the Star Tribe's people also darkened. They were embarrassed to be forced back by a young man. Elder Xingqian naturally knew this as well. His eyes were filled with an unparalleled killing intent. Kid, you've completely angered me. I'll make sure you die without a burial place. He was really angry. He decided to kill the other party in one move. Boom! He clenched his hand into a fist and pushed it out. Tens of thousands of rays of starlight fell from the 9 heavens. Galaxy Fist! Countless people exclaimed. This was the Star Tribe's supreme superpower. They didn't expect the other party to use it right away. It seemed that he really wanted to end the battle in an instant. Let's see how this kid dies. Lin Xian had seen this fist technique before. Young Master Qin had used it before. But now that it was used by Elder Xingqian, its power was even more terrifying. It was as if a river of stars was rushing over. Lin Xian was still not afraid. In the past, he was a Saint Venerable and could fight against a Saint King. Now that he had become a true Saint King, his strength was much stronger. In the next moment, his palm formed another seal, and an even more powerful force erupted. Boom! Boom! Elder Xingqian's palm was like a divine king, standing tall and sweeping across the world, blocking the Galaxy Fist. Lin Xian said, "Your strength isn't that great. Could it be that you want to use this strength to kill me?" What a joke! As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people were stunned, and there was complete silence. They were really stunned. This guy could fight against Elder Xingqian? What kind of joke was this? Were they dreaming? What was this guy doing? Couldn't he even kill a piece of trash? The people of the Star Tribe gritted their teeth. Elder Xingqian was also stunned. The ant in his eyes had grown to such an extent. He could even block his fist technique. Kill! He roared, and like a god of the galaxy, he soared across the sky. He threw a punch at Lin Xian, and a terrifying aura pressed forward. Close combat! Lin Xian sneered. He had never been afraid of anyone. Even someone as strong as the immemorial imperial body was no match for him. Lin Xian charged over, his fists opening and closing. With the power of the divine body and various supreme skills, there was no way to dodge. In that instant, the two of them were like the sun splitting open. Terrifying light and laws swept in all directions. Boom! Boom! Around the arena, countless arrays flickered. These were defensive arrays, but at this moment they couldn't withstand it. Some places had already cracked. Retreat quickly. The surrounding people watching the battle quickly retreated. They really couldn't imagine that the battle would turn out like this. However, some battle servants secretly clenched their fists. Great! They eagerly hoped that Lin Xian could win. Because Lin Xian was the same as them, coming from another world and had been suppressed before. But the other party soared into the sky and even wanted to challenge the elders. Lin Xian seemed to have turned into their hope. If Lin Xian won, they could also see hope. In the blink of an eye, there had already been tens of thousands of collisions in front. Then the two separated and stood on one side of the arena. Lin Xian's body was overflowing with light, and his aura was biting cold. On the other side, Sacred King Xing Chen's face was cold, and he was furious. Both sides were evenly matched, and he couldn't tolerate it. Could it be that this guy had obtained some great fortune? Chapter 45-35. The elders of the Grotto Heavens also frowned. They felt that it was too unbelievable. Some people even nodded slightly. This young man was amazing. His growth was limitless. It was a pity that he was not one of them. Indeed, if they were geniuses from a grotto heaven, they would definitely soar into the sky. But unfortunately, the other party came from another world. No one would nurture such a genius with all their might. They would even immediately take action and kill the other party. You're just SO. Now, I'll let you see my power. Lin Xian took a step forward, and the aura on his body swept through the 9 heavens. He formed a seal with both hands and blasted it forward. Heaven and earth split open, and an ancient demonic mountain descended from the sky. This demonic mountain was too terrifying. It was as if it had crossed through time and space. It charged towards Elder Xingqian. At the same time, sword qi rushed out from his body, transforming into a giant dragon that danced between heaven and earth. Feeling the biting cold aura from Lin Xian's body, everyone was shocked. They felt a chill behind their backs. This guy was too unbelievable. Sacred King Xing Chen raised his head, and a biting cold killing intent erupted from his eyes. Starlight that filled the sky appeared on his body, forming a battle armor. At the same time, a long sword appeared in his hand. Unparalleled sword. He sneered. "Kid, do you see this sword? I'll use this sword to deal with you personally." Boom! 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 He soared into the sky and charged forward. Lin Xian descended from the sky and charged down. The two once again engaged in a crazy battle. Elder Xingqian was truly enraged. He used his strongest power. The power of the stars erupted, and the unparalleled sword in his hand opened and closed. Lin Xian's expression was solemn, and there was a hint of biting cold, killing intent in his eyes. The other party still dared to use the unparalleled sword to attack him. It was unforgivable. "All right, I'll let you die under this sword today." Lin Xian stretched out his palm and first struck out with the man-ruler seal, repelling the long sword. Then his left hand turned into a dragon claw and grabbed down. A claw split the sky and tore the void apart. He came in front of the other party and grabbed his arm. Crack! The other party's arm was instantly broken. That sound made one's scalp tingle. Old Zhang of the constellations roared and slashed his sword at Lin Xian. Clanging sounds rang out and sparks danced in the air. Lin Xian retreated. However, this sword did not split his body. With a roar, Lin Xian charged forward again. At this moment, his divine body revolved, and he became extremely powerful. He fought against the unparalleled sword with his bare hands. Boom! Boom! After another 100 attacks, the two of them retreated again. There was golden blood at the corner of Lin Xian's mouth. It was obvious that he was injured as well. However, Sacred Ruler Star King was in an even more miserable state. There were many large cracks on his body, and one of his arms had been completely shattered. He turned into a bloody mist. He couldn't even hold onto the unparalleled sword. If you want to use this sword to kill me, I'm afraid it's impossible. Lin Xian sneered and used stellar transposition. The unparalleled sword was being controlled. He suddenly slashed out and cleaved Elder Xing Chen in half. Elder Xing Chen roared and retreated. His face was filled with fear. Damn it, what kind of power is this? Buzz! With a palm strike, Lin Xian grabbed the unparalleled sword, and an unparalleled radiance burst out from his eyes. This battle could be over. With a roar and the sound of a dragon, endless sword chi rushed into the sky. The sky full of sword shadows turned into laws and pierced through heaven and earth. This guy was so powerful. Was he a top-notch swordsman? Many people were shocked, and even some elders frowned. Why did such a strong physique and terrifying sword technique feel so familiar? Wasn't the guy who snatched the Rinnegan in Qiankuan Ancient City such a terrifying existence? They were very suspicious. The people of Ethereal Peak were even staring at Lin Xian. They didn't know if this guy could use eye techniques. If he used eye techniques and they found out that it was the Tianji eye, then it was undoubtedly this guy. Unfortunately, Lin Xian did not intend to use eye techniques. He wanted to use his peerless sword technique to end this battle. Damn kid, I want you dead. Elder Xing Chen's body bloomed with light, and his eyes burst with a piercing, killing intent. Many flames flew out from his body. Those were the starry flames, and they quickly condensed into a starry sky map. A terrifying aura burst out. Everyone was terrified. Starry flames, and so many of them. It seemed that this was the opponent's real trump card. The starry flames burned rapidly, and the aura of Elder Xing Chen became even more terrifying than before. In the distance, young Master Chen looked at this scene from the spectator stand, and a smile appeared on his face. This was the secret technique of their star tribe. Now that it was used, the kid would definitely die. This was indeed a secret technique. Once it was used, it would be considered a victory. One's strength would also be reduced. Originally, it would take 100 years to break through and become a late-stage Holy King. Now that it was used, there was probably no hope for it in 500 years. However, Elder Xing Chen was completely enraged. Even if there was no hope for it in 500 years, he would kill Lin Xian today. I'll finish you in one move. He stretched out a finger. Then his body turned into lightning and charged out. Lin Xian sneered. Finish me in one move? You've said this many times already, but until now you haven't hurt me. I don't know where you get the courage to say such words again. As he spoke, Lin Xian slashed out with a sword. A terrifying sword aura burst out from heaven and earth, piercing through the 9 heavens. The entire world shook, and a huge crack appeared. How could this be? Lin Xian's sword aura had become stronger again. Elder Xing Chen was horrified. He could sense a fatal danger from the sword. He didn't dare to be careless. As he opened and closed his palms, the starry sky map pressed down. Lin Xian's 9 suns opened the sky, slashed down. Boom! Boom! The divine sword and the starry sky collided, emitting a terrifying light. A sound rang out between heaven and earth. Crack! Under countless shocked gazes, the starry sky shattered. Then, the sword slashed on Elder Xing Chen's body. This sword pierced through Elder Xing Chen's shoulder and slashed down. Half of Elder Xing Chen's body split open. Holy blood dripped down, piercing through the 9 heavens. Damn it, how could this be? Those from the Star tribe stood up, their eyes filled with shock. Elder Yenemo and the others narrowed their eyes, not daring to imagine. Ah! Elder Xingqian looked up to the sky and roared. The pain almost made him faint. He was injured again. He used a secret technique. But he still wasn't a match for Lin Xian. Damn it, I don't believe it. Go and die. Although his body was torn apart, he hadn't died yet. He used his power, and his palms flew out. There were 2 stars in his palms, and they shone brightly, burning quickly. His palms hit Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian was sent flying. Then, the 2 palms turned into a bloody mist. Lin Xian was also sent flying, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. There were 2 palms on his body, and they had almost pierced through him. It was obvious that Lin Xian had burned his bloodline to launch this attack, which was extremely terrifying. He had probably surpassed the middle stage of the Holy King realm. No, Xueqi exclaimed. The others were also in an uproar. Was he dead? Not yet. They saw Lin Xian stand up again. However, at this moment, terrifying flames also flew out of Elder Xing Chen's body, the flames of his bloodline. Moreover, they were all burning. This made everyone feel terrified. This guy was really going all out. He was burning his life force and power. Chapter 45-36. Elder Xingqian had already reached this step and burned his life, force, and strength? One had to know that Elder Xingqian's strength was extremely powerful. He was already equivalent to a late-stage, holy venerable. He turned into lightning and arrived in front of Lin Xian, slapping down with his palm. Lin Xian had just stood up when he was sent flying again. Another long seal appeared on his body. Even if I die today, I will drag you to hell. Elder Xingqian was like a god of death as he attacked crazily. Lin Xian did not retreat anymore. An extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from his eyes. Even if the other party burned his life force, so what? He roared at the sky. The human ruler seal, mountain-embracing seal, indestructible sword, and invincible sword erupted. At this moment, Lin Xian charged forward with an indomitable aura as if he had turned into a peerless sword god, who didn't know how to fight with their lives on the line. The unparalleled sword turned into countless sword shadows, dancing nonstop like a giant dragon. Lin Xian was hit by many palms, but the other party had many more swords on his body. With one sword, he split the other party in half. With another sword, the other party's hands split open. With another sword, the other party's eyes were also pierced. My sword is indestructible. My sword dominates the heavens. Lin Xian roared at the sky. His sword Dao was displayed to perfection. With one sword, he drew a 10,000 dragons diagram and charged down. With a crack, it collided with the other party's star chart. Endless laws danced. Lin Xian retreated. Elder Xingqian was also sent flying, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. His face became incomparably pale, but he still couldn't care less. His split body healed again and he charged over. This battle was really too intense. Another sword strike forced the other party back. Lin Xian said coldly, "Star laws? Your stars are too insignificant. Let me show you what the true vastness of the galaxy is." Countless starlight appeared on Lin Xian's unparalleled sword. It spun rapidly. A star chart appeared on the long sword, flickering nonstop. Starlight fell from the 9 heavens. You don't have the right to use the power of the galaxy in front of me. I am from the star race. Elder Xing Chen roared crazily. Was the other party using his family's divine ability again? What kind of joke was this? He killed his way out. However, tens of thousands of streaks of starlight scattered in the sky like peerless divine swords, beating him until he spat out blood. How could this be? Elder Xing Chen coughed out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground with his back facing the sky. Those from the Star tribe were also shocked. This aura was the light of the stars. Damn it. Even those with powerful bloodlines in their clans wouldn't be able to use it. How did this brat manage to execute such a move? Your starlight is too insignificant. Lin Xian brandished his sword and strode forward. It was just one sword strike. Tens of millions of stars roared together, surrounding the other party. The Star City Elder's body was torn apart, and his strength rapidly weakened. Previously, he had obtained great power by burning his life force and laws. There wasn't much left now. He could no longer display the power of a late-stage Holy King. On the other hand, Lin Xian's aura was growing stronger and stronger, not weakening in the slightest. The sharpness of the sword, qi, caused his body to be unable to heal completely. Everyone could see that Elder Xing Chen's situation was very bad. He would probably be destroyed in 3 more strikes. Lin Xian didn't have any intention of stopping. Another sword strike was sent out, and Elder Xing Chen's aura became even weaker. Even his soul became dim. Stop! At this moment, young Master Qin roared, attracting everyone's attention. Countless people exclaimed. It seemed that the people from the Star tribe couldn't help but interfere in this matter. Lin Xian didn't care about the other party's roar at all. Another sword strike was sent down. Damn it, how dare you! This time, it wasn't just young Master Qin. Even the elder of the Star tribe was furious. Between heaven and earth, endless power rushed towards Lin Xian, causing Lin Xian's soul to be impacted. Lin Xian's eyes were cold. At the same time, he swept out his sword, and the dragon soul's aura destroyed this power. He turned his head and stared into the distance. How dare you attack me? The surrounding people were shocked as well. They didn't expect the people from the Star tribe to be so domineering as to attack Lin Xian directly. Xueqi stood out and said, "This was a life and death battle, and no one else was allowed to interfere. What can you do to me if I do? Do you want to start a war with the Star tribe?" That elder was extremely arrogant, and his powerful aura suppressed the entire place. The people from the other grotto heavens didn't dare to speak. What a joke! Who would dare to go against Ethereal Peak? Indeed, Xianhai also said, "Xueqi, don't be rude. Kid, let's end this here." Xianhai said coldly. Even though Lin Xian had one, he didn't feel happy at all. Mo nodded and said, "You can stop now." The people from the other grotto heavens were shocked. Indeed, the 2 elders of Thousand Mountain Grotto Heaven had spoken. Seemed like there was no need for this battle to continue. They shook their heads and sighed. After hearing this, Lin Xian laughed. His laughter was extremely arrogant. The starry sky of Jiutian City was shaking. "Kid, what are you laughing at?" Xianhai's face darkened. Lin Xian said, "I'm laughing. You are all idiots. You are courting death." Xianhai was infuriated, and Yanmo's face also darkened. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Did I say anything wrong? My talent is obvious to all. No matter which sect I am in, they would do their best to nurture me. But you guys suppressed me from the beginning, and you are still suppressing me now. I really don't understand how your grotto heavens managed to survive until now." Xianhai roared, "Kid, you are strong, but so what? No matter how strong you are still just one person. If we want you to live, you will live. If we want you to die, you will die. Is that so? Do you really think that you have the power to control everything?" Lin Xian sneered coldly. "Before this, I could still let you guys off because of Xueqi. But since you are courting death, don't blame me. Audacious. Impudent." The 2 elders were so angry that they almost vomited blood. The people from the other grotto heavens were also shocked. This kid is crazy. Although he had become Xueqi's husband, his status wasn't ordinary, so what? Even Xueqi didn't dare to act impudently in front of the 2 elders. Lin Xian didn't pay attention to the 2 elders, and he looked at the Star Race's elder from the misty peak. You are quite arrogant. Do you think that you can attack me as you wish just because you are a late-stage Saint King? Did you want to kill me with your previous attack? It's a pity that you can't do it. You are 2 cultivation levels higher than me, yet you still can't kill me instantly. You're just SOO. Trash. Kid, are you challenging me? The Star Race's elder walked out. No one had ever dared to challenge him, and those who had challenged him were all dead. Lin Xian sneered coldly. Do you want to fight? Do you dare to fight me at the same cultivation level? I can kill you instantly. You aren't qualified to fight me at the same cultivation level, and I can kill you instantly. Is that so? Kill me instantly? You have already attacked me, but can you kill me? Do you think that you can control the world just because you are from the Misty Peak? Do you think that everyone will listen to you? You are too naive. Today, I will let you know that you can't control everyone. After Lin Xian spoke, he waved his sword energy, and a dragon-shaped sword energy rushed out and enveloped the Star Race's elder. The Star Race's elder roared and tried to escape. However, he was turned into a bloody mist by the sword energy, and his soul was extinguished. Chapter 45-37. With a wave of his hand, Lin Xian grabbed the man's storage ring and turned his head around. I killed him in front of you. What can you do about it? Dead. Everyone was stunned. They had never thought that Elder Xingqian would die just like that. This was a scene that they had never encountered before. Elder Xingqian had lived for more than 4,000 years. He was an extremely powerful existence in the middle stage of Sacred Venerate. Within 100 years, he could definitely become a late-stage Sacred Venerate. Such a person was extremely terrifying, but now he had fallen. He had fallen in the hands of a young man. Moreover, it was in front of Ethereal Peak. This was not only a slap to Thousand Mountain Cave's face, but also a slap to Ethereal Peak's face. How could the experts of Ethereal Peak and Star Tribe tolerate this? As expected, the face of the elder from the Misty Peak turned incomparably ugly. You dare to kill him? Then you can go to hell to be buried with him. A huge hand slapped over. The terrifying aura was more than 10 times stronger than that of Elder Xingqian. It was too terrifying. This was the cultivation of a late-stage Sacred Venerate. Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. However, his eyes shone brightly. He pinched the storage ring that he had obtained. The treasures inside were all absorbed by the great dragon sword soul. He held the unparalleled sword with both hands and slashed forward. Kill! Lin Xian roared. The dragon sword soul roared and slashed out. It was like an eternal divine light between heaven and earth as it fought forward. With a boom, it collided with the galaxy hand. A monstrous force swept out, and the surrounding people all retreated. This kid was dead for sure. However, what shocked them was that Lin Xian only took a few steps back. The galaxy hand in the sky and the terrifying sword Qi disappeared together. This guy actually blocked it? It was too unbelievable. Everyone was shocked. This was the attack of a late-stage Sacred King. How strong was this kid's combat strength? Could it be that he could contend with a late-stage Sacred King? Lin Xian sneered. Not very strong. Didn't you want to kill me in one move? Come on. How many moves have you made against me? The elder of the Star Race was incomparably shocked. He had not expected that the other party would be able to defend against his attack. Kid, I admit that your talent and strength have indeed exceeded my expectations. However, it's a pity that you're not from the Star Tribe, nor are you from the Ethereal Peak. Therefore, you will definitely die. The elder of the Star Race walked out, emitting an even more terrifying aura. Evidently, he was going to go all out. He said coldly, "Do you feel wronged? Do you think I'm a bully? Taking advantage of his seniority?" However, it was a pity that these were all true. This was a world that emphasized strength. Absolute strength could control everything. So, and you can die in peace." The people from the surrounding grotto heavens were silent. No one dared to make a move. They all felt a moment of silence for Lin Xian. It was truly a pity that such a genius had fallen like this. Xue Qi's expression changed, and she soared into the sky. She wanted to help Lin Xian. However, Black Ice Ancestor waved her hand and formed a sealing enchantment that enveloped her. "Cheer, stop. You can't save him." Xue Qi's face became pale. Lin Xian laughed. "Do you think that you can defeat me? Do you really like the feeling of bullying others?" As he spoke, he crushed the Xiantian token. At the same time, a whirlpool formed above his head, and a person walked out of it. "Who dares to attack a member of the Xiantian Pavilion? Not good." The elder of the star race's expression changed. He had forgotten that his opponent was a member of the Xiantian Pavilion, and he even had a token in his hand. He slashed out with his blade, and the starry river turned into a blade light that slashed toward the whirlpool. He wanted to destroy the spatial teleportation. A finger stretched out of the whirlpool, and it turned into a sharp sword that slashed toward the elder. The heavens and the earth cracked, and the blade light was shattered. The elder of the star race spat out blood and was sent flying. An imposing figure walked out of the whirlpool, and his ice-cold voice reverberated in all directions. "You dare to attack me?" Everyone was stunned, and their scalps went numb. The elder of the star race was sent flying. Who was this person? When they raised their heads and looked over, their pupils contracted. It was Jian Wuck, an elder. The people of the star race ran over as well. The elder of the star race stood up, his face pale. He gritted his teeth and said, "Jian Wuck, do you dare to interfere in the matters of the star race?" Jian Wuck stared at the other party. "You are the one who attacked a member of the Xiantian Pavilion? Die." He sent a slap over. "You are courting death." The elder of the star race rushed up and fought. However, he was no match for Jian Wuck. With a slap, he was sent flying. Half of his face was smashed, and his teeth flew all over the ground. Everyone was silent. Was the difference that big? The elder of the star race rushed over again. "Damn it, you hit me? You want to start a war with the Misty Peak." Jian Wuck sneered. "You can't represent the star race, and you can't represent the Misty Peak. So what if I hate you? Don't you like to bully others? When you attacked a disciple of the Xiantian Pavilion, did you ever think about the feeling of being suppressed? Now, I will let you have a taste of it." As he spoke, he sent out another slap. The elder of the star race's body was torn apart, turning into a bloody mist. He roared crazily, finally feeling fear. "Damn it! Dugaju, why aren't you attacking?" Dugaju sighed and stood up. Jian Wuck looked at him and said coldly, "Why? You want to attack me? Very well. Let me experience your strength, Dugaju." Jian Wuck's body released a vast sword chi that swept out in all directions. Dugaju said, "Are you really going to make an enemy of the Misty Peak for a young man?" "That's right." Jian Wuck nodded and said coldly, "Lin Xian is a peerless genius, and his future is limitless. Moreover, he has joined the Xiantian Pavilion long ago, so he is naturally protected by the Xiantian Pavilion. Today, I, Jian Wuck, will separate from the Misty Peak for a peerless genius. Are you surprised?" Dugaju said, "There are many geniuses. Why should you sacrifice your life for him?" Jian Wuck sneered. "Many geniuses? Let me ask you, a Saint King went out and killed a mid-stage Saint King. Can you find such a genius? An early-stage Saint King who can block the attack of a late-stage Saint King? Can you find another one? Let me ask you, does the Misty Peak have such a genius?" "What a joke! You actually said that there are many such geniuses. This is a peerless genius, not someone the trash of the Misty Peak can compare to." Everyone was shocked, but thinking about it, it was indeed true. Lin Xian's talent was really too strong. When he was a Saint Venerable, he could already defeat a Saint King. Now that he was a Saint King, only a late-stage Saint King would be able to suppress him. If he was allowed to grow to late-stage Saint King, wouldn't he be able to fight a great saint? Thinking of this, they felt their hair stand on end. Those from the star race gritted their teeth. Especially those geniuses, none of them were convinced. Lin Xian looked at them and said, "Why? Are you not convinced? If you are, then come at me. With just the few of you, I can suppress you with one hand." Chapter 4538. Young Master Chen and the rest had ugly expressions on their faces, but no one dared to make a move. Even the Star Palace elder had died. They were probably no match for him. Jian Wuk spoke again. Such a top genius. Thousand Mountain Grotto is an idiot. No. Ethereal Peak is also an idiot. No. Xiantian Pavilion wants him. Today, I will take him away. Who has any objections? He killed an expert of the star race. How can we let him leave? The star race elder jumped out once again, gritting his teeth. Lin Xian sneered. Have you gone senile? It was a fair battle of life and death. Life and death are up to fate. It is normal for me to kill him. But you, using your status and cultivation, broke the rules of a battle of life and death. You are the laughingstock of the world. The star race elder was so angry that he vomited blood. He wanted to attack. At this moment, Jian Wuk slashed out again, splitting him into two. The star race elder had completely broken down. Dugu Ju's face also darkened. Enough. You have attacked again and again. Do you really think that Ethereal Peak is easy to bully? Today, I will see what right you have to take him away. Dugu Ju was also angry. Lin Xian had slapped him in the face during the battle for marriage. Today he would not let him leave. Since Lin Xian had become enemies with Ethereal Peak, he would not let such a peerless genius continue to grow. Otherwise, he would be a peerless enemy. Dugu Ju's palm was like a knife slashing out. The light that reached the sky brought with it a domineering aura. Jian Wuk snorted coldly and waved his finger. Sword Qi was like lightning, piercing through the void and attacking forward. Boom! 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 The sword and saber collided and tore apart the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The surrounding people were all sent flying, vomiting blood. It was too terrifying. Both of them were late-stage Saint Kings. They were extremely terrifying existences. Both of them were equal in strength. Now that they were fighting, it was like a fierce battle. After one move, Dugu Ju roared into the sky. A saber appeared on his body. He waved it and slashed forward. An ancient sword appeared in Jian Wuk's hand. He attacked as well. The battle between the two was like a saber god and a sword god clashing. Everyone's expression changed. The only ones who could still maintain their composure were the 2 great sages. The 2 of them also wore gloomy expressions and remained silent. Now that things had come to this, they couldn't do anything. No matter if it was Dugu Ju or Jian Wuk, they could not afford to offend them. After all, the Misty Peak and Xiantian Pavilion were behind them. The experts who came out could destroy them. Thousand Mountain Grotto. Therefore, they could only watch silently. The battle between the 2 was extremely terrifying. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. At this moment, the elder from the star race walked out again. His body was covered in blood, and his eyes were filled with cold, killing intent as he stared at Lin Xian. "Kid, let's see who can save you this time." He revealed a ferocious smile and said, "Everyone in the Grotto Heaven, listen up. Kill him." The people from the surrounding Grotto Heavens felt their scalps go numb. Jian Wuk shouted coldly, "Who would dare to attack? The Xiantian Pavilion would definitely send experts to destroy that heavenly abode." The surrounding people became even more frightened and didn't dare to make a move. "A bunch of trash!" The elder of the star tribe sneered. "Since that's the case, I'll do it myself. I'd like to see how you're going to deal with it." His eyes were filled with killing intent. This time he was truly enraged. With a roar, a river of stars flew over. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He was also angry. The phantom of the great sage tower appeared around his body. He used the void escape technique and dodged continuously, avoiding the strongest attacks. The storm of stars hit the great sage tower, causing an earth-shattering sound. His blood boiled from the impact, but he still charged out. With the phantom of the great sage tower, the other party couldn't hurt him. Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul circulated within his body. He slashed out, turning into a peerless sword light that fought against the river of stars. The battle erupted. The elder of the star race had an ugly expression. He had already attacked with all his might, but he still couldn't kill the other party, especially the other party's mysterious spatial mystique and his strong defense. Even the sword chi was troublesome for him. He had to deal with it with all his might. Despicable guy, you've really angered me. He roared into the sky. Starry River Domain. Endless starlight appeared on his body, completely sealing the space around him. Kid, let's see how you're going to escape this time. He created thousands of doppelgangers and charged out. Everyone was in despair. Lin Xian entered the Great Sage Tower to block. The Great Sage Tower exploded with an unparalleled light. It was shaken by the attacks, but it still spun and charged out. Lin Xian came out of the Great Sage Tower and used the void escape to kill the other party. Old thing, you dare to kill me? I'll let you know the price. He charged out and slapped out. Two geniuses of the star race were instantly turned into blood mist. Elder, save me. The geniuses fled frantically, their faces full of fear. They couldn't stop him at all. He was a killing god. The elder of the star race was furious. His eyes were red. How dare you? If you dare to touch the people of the star race, I'll tear you to pieces. What, are you crazy now? Don't you like to use your strength to crush others? Now, I'll use my strength to crush the star race. Lin Xian sneered. These geniuses of the star race were strong, but they couldn't withstand a single blow from him. With a slash of his sword, 3 heads flew. No. The elder of the star race turned into a bolt of lightning and charged over. Lin Xian used the void escape and used his strongest attack. However, the other party used the starry lightning to form a sure kill attack. Lin Xian entered the Great Sage Tower again and was sent flying. His blood was boiling. The Great Sage Tower was an item of the Great Sage. The other party couldn't break through its defenses. Damn it! The elder of the star race also realized that this was a top-grade defensive artifact. He couldn't break through it. Kid, come out if you have the guts. Lin Xian sneered. Do you have the guts to say that? If you have the guts, let's fight at the same level. As he spoke, he attacked again, attacking behind him. The ground cracked open. 2 streaks of sword chi pierced through 2 geniuses of the star race. Ah, the elder of the star race was so angry that he vomited blood. He was really crazy. Left with no other choice, he could only look ahead. Seniors, please take him down. The star race is grateful. Black Ice ancestor frowned. The sagely heavens ancestor's eyes flickered. All right, I'll help you. This was a good chance to rope in the star race. How could he miss this opportunity? The sagely heavens ancestor stretched out a hand and grabbed the Great Sage Tower. If I'm not wrong, this should be a weapon that surpasses the Saint King level. Someone like you doesn't deserve to have such a thing. The Great Sage Tower shone brightly and blocked the attack. Lin Xian's expression was extremely ugly. The sagely heavens ancestor. He swore that this bloodline would be annihilated in the future. Black Ice ancestor sighed. Did she let this old thing take the lead? She also wanted to rope in the star race, so she prepared to attack. Xueqi said, Grandfather, even if you don't support him, can you not attack? If you really want to attack, I'll kill myself in front of you. Don't mess around. Black Ice ancestor tried to seal her. Xueqi's body was covered in black frost, blocking the seal. She said, "It's useless. Father, you can't seal me. My strength isn't something you can imagine. If you really attack him, I won't have any hope of living." Chapter 45-39. Xian, I was dumbfounded. What was that black ice? Black ice, ancestor sighed. "Forget it. I'll listen to you this time and not attack him. However, I can't help him either. However, even if I don't attack him, he won't be able to fight against the Holy Heaven's old ancestor alone." In an instant, the Holy Heaven's old ancestor's hand grabbed the great sage pagoda, wanting to destroy it completely. The toad roared in the great sage pagoda. "This guy is too despicable. I really want to kill him. Kid, what should we do now? If he takes us away, we'll be in great danger." Lin Xian gritted his teeth. "Take out all the treasures you have. I'm going to kill him today." Lin Xian also took out countless treasures. At the same time, he circulated all his strength and attacked. The great dragon's sword soul roared, and a dragon-shaped sword chi flew out. With a clang, it slashed the huge hand, and a crack appeared on it. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor was stunned, and his face turned ugly. Lin Xian still had treasures that could hurt him? What was that? He was really shocked. A piercingly cold light burst out from his eyes. This guy definitely had a heaven-shaking treasure in his hands. He had to get it. At the thought of this, he attacked again. On his palm, countless great daos formed wind blades. Lin Xian, the toad, and Whitey took out their treasures. The great dragon, sword soul, roared again. This time, a dragon roar resounded through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Between heaven and earth, more terrifying lightning descended and turned into sword chi. The sword slashed out. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor's palm was completely split open. It was full of cracks, and it shattered into a bloody mist. The surrounding people went crazy. What kind of treasure did this kid use? It could actually fight against a great sage. "Father!" Yen Mo exclaimed. On the other side, Xian Hai was stunned. Even Black Ice Ancestor took a deep breath. Her eyes were filled with shock. How could a great sage's strength be resisted by a great sage? But now, what was going on? How did this kid do it? No wonder Xue Qi didn't allow him to attack. If he let Lin Xian escape today, what kind of storm would he cause when he returned? He didn't dare to imagine. He said to Xian Hai, "From now on, no one is allowed to touch this kid. Even if he escapes, you are not allowed to pursue him, do you hear me?" Xian Hai was dumbfounded, but he couldn't refute it. Were they really wrong? This brat was indeed a peerless genius. If they had treated him with respect from the start and nurtured him well, they would have benefited immensely when he grew up. It was a pity. They had always been high and mighty, never putting the people of other worlds in their eyes. Even if Lin Xian displayed his talent, they believed that he would not be able to grow. They continued to suppress him. But now they really regretted it. Black Ice Ancestor sighed. She had misjudged him. He had lived for thousands of years, but this time he had really made a mistake. However, he knew that he could no longer make up for what had happened to Lin Xian. It was fortunate that he had Xue Qi, and he couldn't see through his granddaughter. Xue Qi must have also gotten a heaven-defying fortuitous encounter, and he could only depend on her in the future. As for Lin Xian, they no longer intended to be enemies with him. At the very least, they wouldn't take the initiative to hunt him down. However, whether or not the other party could escape today would depend on his luck. The Holy Heaven's old ancestor was even more shocked. His opponent had actually injured him. How could an ant injure him? His eyes shone with an extremely cold light as he stood up. The aura of a great sage was vast. At this moment, the experts of the Grotto Heaven all prostrated themselves on the ground, not daring to resist. "Ant, you've completely angered me. I'll let you know that no matter what you have, you can't fight against a great sage." He formed a seal with his palm, and a piece of the sky pressed down with a holy light. At this moment, Jian Wuk roared, and tens of thousands of sword lights slashed toward Dugaju, sending him flying. At the same time, he flew back to the great sage tower. He said, "Holy heavens, old ancestor, why don't you try? If you touch him today, I can guarantee that the next day the experts of the Xiantian Pavilion will kill their way to the 1,000-mountain grotto heaven. I'll destroy your souls." The piece of sky in the sky stopped, and a palm replaced it. The holy heavens' old ancestor's expression was extremely ugly. If it was just Lin Xian, he wouldn't hesitate at all. However, Jian Wuk had come and stood beside him. He couldn't do anything. If he hurt Jian Wuk, he would completely offend the Xiantian Pavilion. Although they had the protection of the Misty Peak, it couldn't protect them forever. Therefore, he couldn't use this move. Jian Wuk snorted coldly and took out a scroll from his storage ring. After opening it, endless space energy surrounded him and the great sage tower. Was he leaving? Xueqi heaved a sigh of relief. Black Ice old ancestor's expression was complicated, and her expression was ugly. The people of the star race roared, especially Elder Xingqin. "Brat, even if you run to the ends of the earth, the star race won't let you go." Lin Xian walked out of the great sage tower, and his body gradually faded. Hearing this, he snorted coldly. "Old thing, I'll give you one last gift." A ball of light burst out from his eyes, and it turned into a spiritual light that attacked below. At this moment, he attacked young Master Qin. Young Master Qin fell to the sky, roaring. Xia Yike was dead. Elder Xingqin went completely crazy. Young Master Qin was also dead? This was a young master of the star race. If he was dead, what kind of shock would it cause? Damn it, what was that? Technique. Countless people were shocked. The other party had such a terrifying soul, technique. Damn it, could it be that he was? Countless people looked at the sky. In the sky, space flickered, and Lin Xian and Jian Wuk disappeared. Qin'er, the elders of the star race, came to young Master Chen's side to check. They found that his soul had been completely destroyed. Damn it, what a terrifying technique. The others were also shocked. A top-notch physique, terrifying sword energy, and now such a terrifying soul technique. It made them think of the red-robed man in Qinkuan ancient city. Was it him? Some elders of the grotto heavens quickly transmitted their voices. Did you see it clearly? Was it the heavenly secret, divine eye? Another person shook his head. Do you dare to raise your head? I don't dare. Who knows if it was the heavenly secret, divine eye? Could it really be him? Even if it wasn't, this guy was still a terrifying expert. It was over. The star race was going crazy. I wonder what the situation will be like next? Countless discussions broke out. Those from the 1,000-mountain grotto heavens were also shocked. They knew that the star race would not let this matter rest. Especially at the end, Lin Xian's technique was too mysterious. It made them very suspicious. What was the relationship between him and the mysterious red-robed man? Outside the 1,000-mountain grotto heavens, countless people were shocked. Among them, a stream of light flashed past and turned into a black-robed man with a monstrous aura. He looked into the distance and was also shocked. Was that dragon's voice the great dragon sword spirit? Could it be that Lin Xian was inside? The black-robed man turned into a stream of light and disappeared. Chapter 4540. 1,000-Mountain Grotto Heaven. The elder of the star race roared. Damn Lin Xian! No matter where you go, even if you go to the Xiantian Pavilion, the star race will catch you. We will make you wish you were dead. The holy heavens, old ancestor, said coldly. Don't worry, we won't let that kid go either. His cold voice made the people of the other grotto heavens feel numb. They knew that there was going to be a huge storm. At this moment, a cold laugh came from the sky. Did you attack Lin Xian?" As soon as he finished speaking, a monstrous aura spread out, forming a black storm. Who was that? Countless people were shocked. Was someone standing up for Lin Xian? The elder of the star race roared. "You know Lin Xian? Then you can die." He charged forward. A river of stars appeared and streaked across the sky. It could pierce through everything. Boom! 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 The black storm fell, and the laws spread out, covering the river of stars and the elder of the star race. The elder of the star race roared in pain. Everyone was stunned. What was going on? They saw the elder of the star race's body being smashed into pieces. He was dead. Everyone went crazy. After young Master Qin died, did the elder of the star race die as well? Who was it? The holy heaven's old ancestor's face also changed. He struck out once again toward the sky. The entire sky flipped over and charged toward the black storm. A supreme sage? In the storm, the black-robed man sighed and formed a hand seal. The surrounding ground kept changing, and countless arrays flickered, turning into a huge cauldron that suppressed the sky. It collided with the holy heaven's old ancestor's palm. The arrays in the sky were shattered. The holy heaven's old ancestor's palm was blocked, and the black storm slowly disappeared. Damn it! The holy heaven's old ancestor roared, and his gaze swept across the sky. But he found that the other party had already disappeared. Who was it? The holy heaven's old ancestor was shocked. The other party was too strong, and the laws were everywhere. Was he from the demon race? Also, the other party used the arrays of the 1,000-mountain grotto heaven. What kind of array master was he? Did Lin Xian know someone like him? This kid's identity was more terrifying than they had imagined. Duguju's face turned cold as well. Go and find out who it is. The elder who had died was not only an elder of the Star Tribe, but also an elder of their ethereal peak. The ethereal peak would never let him off. Outside the 1,000-mountain grotto heaven, the black-robed man appeared, his face slightly pale. Otherwise, killing him would be as easy as flipping his hand. Little guy, I've avenged you a little. As for the rest, it's up to you. The figure of the black-robed man disappeared between heaven and earth. 2 streaks of light flew through the air. They were Lin Xian and Jianwuk. They had used a spatial array to leave the 1,000-mountain cave. At this moment, they were already far away from that area. Now that the little fellow is safe, I'll take you to the profound heaven pavilion. Jianwuk laughed. After flying for 10 days, Lin Xian was surprised. Senior, was the Xiantian pavilion very far from the ethereal peak? Jianwuk nodded. They were indeed not close. The 2 of them belonged to 2 different regions. Lin Xian asked, then what was the distribution of the buried Emperor Star? He wasn't too sure because he had asked Xueqi before. However, Xueqi only knew about the ethereal peak region. Apart from that, she wasn't too sure. Now that he had met Jianwuk, Lin Xian wanted to know more. Jianwuk said, I only know a rough idea because the buried Emperor Star is very big. The entire buried Emperor Star has a few seas and a few continents. Overall, for seas 8 desolates. Our Xiantian Pavilion and Ethereal Peak are on the same continent called the Tianxian Continent. Just the Tianxian Continent is very big. I'm only familiar with a few of the regions. After Lin Xian heard this, he was even more shocked. For seas, 8 desolates, it seemed that the buried Emperor Star was much bigger than he had imagined. In the 4 seas and 8 desolates, there were some tombs of great emperors. However, those were all danger zones and ordinary people couldn't go there. In the other continents and seas, there were strong existences. There were also some ancient races. For example, Ethereal Peak's Xiantian Pavilion had many grotto heavens below them. Apart from that, there were also some ancient cities. Some are ancient cities, and some are even ancient cities. Those ancient cities also stood tall on the ground and were places that countless people yearned for. For example, the Qinkuan ancient city was a very famous city. At this moment, Lin Xian and the others were going to the Xiantian Pavilion. It was located in the east of the Tian-Shan continent. After flying for about a month, they arrived. This region was already very far from Ethereal Peak and belonged to the Xiantian Pavilion. "Let's go, little fellow. Follow me." Jian Wuk led the way. The two of them turned into rays of light and flew towards the mountain range in the distance. When they arrived, a formation appeared below them, and 4 figures flew up. "Stop! This is the Xiantian Pavilion. It's me." Jian Wuk stopped and said coldly. After the 4 guards saw this, they were also shocked. Then they all bowed and greeted Elder Wuk. At the same time, they looked at Lin Xian in surprise. Who was this person? He was very unfamiliar, but no one dared to ask. Lin Xian was also sizing them up. They were indeed experts. The strength of the Xiantian Pavilion was not any weaker than Ethereal Peak. Just the guards of the mountain were all Sage Kings, and they had an extremely cold, killing intent. It was obvious that they were people who had been through hundreds of battles. Lin Xian nodded slightly at the few of them. Then he followed Wuk and walked inside. Inside was a continuous mountain range. On the mountain range, there were many pavilions and halls. There were even some halls that were wider than the mountain range. Along the way, many people met Jian Wuk and bowed to him. It was obvious that Jian Wuk's status in the Xiantian Pavilion was not ordinary. "It should be very important, Elder. Elder, you are finally back." When Jian Wuk brought Lin Xian to a territory, 2 figures rushed into the sky anxiously. It was a man and a woman. They were very young and seemed to be of the younger generation. They were also very talented and had reached the Sage King realm. The 2 of them looked at Jian Wuk anxiously. "What happened?" Jian Wuk asked. The man said, "It's about the Spirit Path ancient land. According to the information we found, the Sky River sect and the Ice Feather Palace seem to have the intention of joining forces to deal with the Xiantian Pavilion. So, at this moment, those elders are extremely anxious. They are choosing people." "There's such a thing?" Jian Wuk was shocked. Then he said, "I know. You 2 don't have to worry. I'll go now." Then he looked at Lin Xian. "Little fellow, come with me." So he followed. Looking at the 2 of them leaving, the 2 of them were extremely shocked. Why did the elder bring this person? Who is this person? He looks younger than us. His aura is not as strong as ours. Is he qualified to go? Chapter 45-41. Lin Xian did not know what was going on, but he thought that it should be something very important. Soon, Jian Wuk brought Lin Xian to a large hall. This hall was bigger than the 8 mountains combined. There were no guards around, but there was a terrifying array. Lin Xian could feel that the array could easily kill a Saint King. Jian Wuk walked over and took out a medallion. Countless Tao inscriptions flew out of the medallion. The array formation in front of him slowly opened. Jian Wuk and Lin Xian walked in. At this moment, there were many people standing in the hall. They seemed to be discussing something. When they saw Jian Wuk walk over, they all turned around. Someone smiled and said, "Wuk, you are finally back." "That's right, we were worried to death." Many people walked over. These people had terrifying auras. Many of them were late-stage Saint Kings. There were even peak Saint Kings. Jian Wuk said, "I have a rough idea of what is going on. Are they really going to work together? We've only scouted out some information, and it's very likely to be true. So we are thinking, who should we choose next?" There were a few suitable people, but there were limited spots. The first one had already been chosen. There were only 2 spots left. Oh, there were 2 more. Jian Wuk smiled when he heard that. "Just nice. I can recommend someone. Lin Xian, you can come." After speaking, Lin Xian walked out. The surrounding people were shocked. Only now did they realize that Wuk Jian didn't come alone. there was another person with him. Countless gazes landed on Lin Xian. The space around Lin Xian continued to shatter. He felt an immense pressure. He channeled the power in his body, and his sword qi destroyed the pressure. He faced it calmly. The surrounding people were shocked. This kid was not simple. He was facing so many late-stage and peak Saint Kings. They wondered where this genius came from. "Wuck, who is this kid?" an old man asked. This old man was very strong. He had a golden body, and golden light filled the sky. He was like a golden god of war. Lin Xian could feel an abnormally powerful aura emanating from his opponent's body. This was a body refining technique, and an extremely terrifying one at that. His name is Lin Xian. He came from planet Xiwan. He was in the 1,000 Mountain Cave before, but I brought him here. "Oh, he's the little guy you were talking about." The other middle-aged man nodded. Previously, they had also heard of this person. However, they had never imagined that Jian Wuck would actually bring this person over so quickly. The other lady frowned slightly. "Wuck, although we believe in you, the quota this time is extremely important. Not just anyone could participate in this event. Although you think highly of him, he's still too young. I think it's better to wait until next time." The others also nodded in agreement. They could also tell that Lin Xian was only an early-stage Saint King, and it looked like he had just broken through. No matter how strong such a person was, how strong could he be? Moreover, there was no age limit for the selection this time. In other words, not only young people could participate, but the middle-aged generation could also participate. In this way, cultivation was extremely important. The previous quotas were all obtained by middle-stage Saint Kings. The young geniuses of the Xiantian Pavilion probably did not have the qualifications to obtain them, let alone those who had just arrived. Jian Wuck laughed after hearing this. You don't have to worry about this because he had just killed a middle-stage Saint King Elder from the 1,000 Mountain Cave. What? The moment these words were spoken, everyone in the hall was shocked. This guy had killed an elder from the 1,000 Mountain Cave. Is this true? Could it be that he had used some secret pill or a super powerful saint weapon? Some people had doubts in their eyes. Looks like you don't believe me. That's good too. Let's give him a chance and let him participate in the competition for the last 2 quotas. All right. The old man who was covered in golden light nodded. Since Jian Wuck had said so, they could not refuse. Moreover, they were also very curious. Did this young man really have the strength to kill an elder? At this moment, they looked at the 2 people in front of them. There were 2 figures standing at the front. The aura of these 2 people had reached the Great Saint realm. Clearly, these 2 were the real decision-makers. Lin Xian faced the aura of the Great Saint realm and took a deep breath. The figures of the 2 people were like a dream. One of them was standing on a lotus, like a fairy from the 9 heavens. The other was a man. He looked young, but the aura of his body was incomparably terrifying. On his back there was a pair of black wings. When he spread them out, it brought about a strong storm. These 2 were the Supreme Elders, the Lotus Ancestor and the Dark Feather Ancestor. The Lotus Old Ancestor smiled. Jian Wuck, since you are the one who recommended him, he has the qualifications to participate. Thank you very much, Grand Elders. Jian Wuck smiled. After that, he introduced the 2 to Lin Xian. Lin Xian also bowed respectfully, greeting the 2 seniors. At the same time, he asked through voice transmission, "Are they the Pavilion Masters?" Jian Wuck smiled. They weren't Pavilion Masters, they were Supreme Elders. The Pavilion Master of our Xiantian Pavilion, Lord Xiangtian, has always been very mysterious. He seems to be in seclusion. Unless it is a very important matter, he will not appear. After Lin Xian heard this, he was even more surprised. Lord Xiangtian, his pupils shrank. Wasn't the person Xiajia wanted him to find someone called Xiangtian? He did not expect him to be the Pavilion Master of the Xiantian Pavilion. Is it a coincidence? Same name? Or is it really him? He felt that when he had the chance, he had to personally meet this Lord Xiangtian. Previously, there were 4 people. Now there were 2 spots left. Including Lin Xian, there were 5 spots. The competition was intense again. Everyone did not know how to fight. Lin Xian looked around and smiled. Isn't it simple? I think many people have already gotten a spot. Then I will challenge them. If I defeat them, doesn't that mean I have the qualifications to get a spot? This way, we can decide it with one battle. This was indeed true. The others frowned. This kid is too arrogant. Those who had already gotten a spot, which one of them was not a powerful expert. Does this kid really dare to challenge them? Interesting. The surrounding figures also smiled. They felt that Lin Xian was very interesting. These people were all people who had already gotten a spot. Kid, aren't you a little too arrogant? Although you were brought back by Elderwuck, you can't be so arrogant. I want to see if you have the qualifications to say such words. Among the 4 figures, a man walked out. His aura was also very strong. He had reached the middle stage of the Holy King realm. Lin Xian looked at Jianwuck. Jianwuck nodded slightly. No problem, just show me your strength. All right, I understand. Lin Xian walked forward. Then please enlighten me. After he finished speaking, a strong aura exploded from his body. The surrounding people were stunned. What a strong physique! Even the eyes of the old man, who was covered in golden light, shone with a shocking light. What a strong body tempering technique! This kid is quite strong. Chapter 45-42. You're really brave. Since that's the case, I won't hold back. Don't worry, I'll stop. The man on the other side walked out. He was wearing 5-colored armor, and light erupted from his body. The 5 elemental laws swept out and quickly formed 5 clones, enveloping Lin Xian. This is my 5 elemental laws. I wonder how many moves you can withstand. The man said loudly. It seemed like he was reminding Lin Xian. In fact, he was very confident. There was a difference of a realm between the 2 sides. In his opinion, the other party couldn't even withstand a single move. Lin Xian was also surprised. Oh, 5 elemental laws? Interesting. Since that's the case, I won't hold back. Lin Xian clenched his hand into a fist and punched out. His speed was extremely fast as he charged towards one of the clones. His fist was like the sun, illuminating the entire world. What speed! What terrifying power! The expressions of the surrounding people changed. The smiles on their faces disappeared, replaced by a hint of seriousness. Such a person was indeed terrifying. The expression of the man in 5-colored armor also changed. He shouted in a low voice, "You're indeed very strong, beyond my expectations. But against my 5 elemental laws, you're still not enough. I'll let you see my 5 elemental formation." The 5 elemental laws cooperated with each other, growing and multiplying endlessly. It was extremely powerful. The clone that was attacked retreated one after another. The power of the other clones surged out, forming a terrifying shield to block the attack. The Earth Shield. With a bang, the clone was knocked back and the shield shattered. However, it blocked the attack. Did you see that, kid? No matter how strong you are, you can't defeat me, the armored man said proudly. Lin Xian said with a smile, "Is that so? What if I attack together?" As he said that, Lin Xian threw out 5 fist shadows consecutively, charging towards the 5 elemental clones. Each clone was facing an extremely powerful threat. Not good. How did he do it? His speed is actually so fast. The expressions of the mid-stage Holy Kings changed. They also felt their hair stand on end when they encountered such an attack. This was not an ordinary fist. It contained the power of the divine body, and it was extremely terrifying. The 5 clones used the power of the 5 elemental laws together, like a vast sea to resist. 5 elemental laws as one slash. The armored man's battle roared and attacked. The power of the 5 elemental laws. Then an earth-shattering sound. The 5 elemental laws of the 5 elemental clones. The laws on each and every one of them dimmed considerably, as if they would be extinguished at any moment. Lin Xian's as he retracted his fists. It didn't shatter, at least a little bit stronger as expected of someone from the Xiantian pavilion. He was strong enough to block his fist. If it's it. It was simply unbelievable for an early stage Holy Venerate to say such words to a middle stage Holy Venerate. That T tests the case. T. In the next instant, Zhang Xian formed a series of hand seals, and his 5 elements doppelganger shone brightly. 5 weapons appeared on it, and they were held in the hands of the clone. TT assessed this elemental's, that's Lin's. Mice the armored man's voice was piercingly cold. Then the 5 clones quickly charged over. The elemental law's weapons in the air gave off strong auras. The horrifying power shocked the surrounding people. It looked like the armored man was really serious, going all out. Boom! 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 The battle of the 5 elemental laws erupted. Horrifying laws completely encased the area. Lin Xian's figure also vanished. Countless cracks appeared in the surroundings. The sky shook and the ground shook. It looked like that brat was defeated. Several people exclaimed. Some of the younger geniuses shook their heads. Not only was that brat defeated, but he was also severely injured. That was for sure. If the armored man had not held back, his soul would have already been destroyed. It looked like there was no suspense in this battle. A youth would not be able to obtain a spot. That was what everyone thought. However, right after he spoke, a sword light flickered. It flew out of the elemental laws and chopped down. It was like a heavenly sword. At this moment, the formation, the laws, and the clones all shattered. Nothing could stop it. It appeared. Jian Wux's lips curled up in a smile. However, the pupils of the surrounding people constricted. What a horrifying sword chi! The expressions of the others changed drastically. The sword chi was like a god. It cut through everything like bamboo. In the blink of an eye, everything was cut apart. The armored man could not believe it. He was sent flying, and the armor on his body shattered. A sword mark appeared on his body. You lost. The sword did not continue to descend. Lin Xian stopped in midair and said coldly. Everyone looked at this scene, dumbfounded. It was as if they were dreaming. Was this battle over? However, the result of the battle was out of their expectations. The one who lost was not Lin Xian, but the armored man. This armored man was a mid-stage Holy King. Moreover, he was a very powerful mid-stage Holy King. Otherwise, he would not be qualified to fight for a spot. But now he was defeated by a single sword. The younger disciples could not believe it. Not to mention them, even the senior generation elders sucked in a breath of cold air. This kid was too strong. What? Who is this brat that you found? At the front, the armored man's expression changed. In the end, he sighed. I lost. He knew that Lin Xian had held back. Otherwise, he would have been cut in half by that sword. You let me win. Lin Xian kept his sword. Come back. You did not lose unjustly, another elder said. Elder Zheng's body was also surrounded by powerful 5 elemental laws. He was much stronger than the armored man. He was a late-stage Holy King. The armored man retreated. I have embarrassed my master. That elder said, This young man is a peerless genius, especially that sword just now. Not to mention you, I think others would not be able to block it. So it is normal for you to lose. Even the eyes of the 2 grand elders lit up. This little fellow was not bad. Now, I have the right to get a spot, right? Lin Xian said again. The others nodded. However, at this moment, another voice rang out. Wait, although you defeated him, he did not get a spot. You can only say that you have the right to fight for a spot. If you want to get it, You have to defeat me first." Another man walked out. He seemed to be from the Holy King's generation. The aura on his body was piercingly cold and powerful. 2 daggers appeared in his hands. The sky was filled with killing intent. It was Lung Feng. Was he going to fight too? Many people were shocked. This guy had already gotten a spot, and he was a very terrifying existence. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes, and a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. "If you want to spar with me, I'll accompany you at any time." He also walked out, and the power on his body exploded again. A terrifying sword aura appeared in his hand. Chapter 45-43. At this moment, the black-winged ancestor, Dark Feather, spoke. Lung Feng stepped back. He is indeed qualified to get a spot. Lung Feng was stunned and wanted to say something. However, Ancestor Dark Feather shook his head. "Do you still doubt my judgment?" "I don't dare." Lung Feng stepped back. The others were also surprised. Since the ancestor had spoken, they naturally had no objections. Just like this, Lin Xian successfully got a spot. Next, 3 people competed for it. The other spot was finally taken by a woman. "All right, go back and prepare. The day of the competition is almost here." Everyone responded one after another, and then they all left. After leaving the main hall, Jian Wuk brought Lin Xian back to his territory and said, "First, congratulations on getting a spot. Next, you should cultivate well. When the time comes, I will look for you. Oh, right, as for the others, like Lung Feng, you don't have to be hostile. He is not targeting you. It's just that they don't know you yet, so they don't know your strength. Your real opponents are the Sky River Sect and the Ice Feather Palace." "I understand." Lin Xian nodded. Indeed, in the previous battle, he only felt the fighting spirit. There was no killing intent like the Misty Peak. Therefore, Lin Xian did not kill. He came to a hall and began to cultivate in seclusion. He had already cultivated the first 12 of the Tianji 24 diagrams. Next, he would cultivate the 13th diagram. However, the remaining 12 diagrams were even more terrifying. Each diagram was much more powerful than the previous ones, and it was harder to cultivate. The time it would take would be much longer than before. Lin Xian began to cultivate patiently. The 13th diagram. About half a month later, he opened his eyes. The stars in his eyes disappeared. His eye technique was even more terrifying. He did not come out of seclusion. Instead, he thought of a place. Now that he had broken through to become a true Sage King, he was ready to explore the mysterious world in his body. Previously, he had entered the mysterious world in his body to avoid the heavenly punishment. Furthermore, this mysterious little sword had been with him from the very beginning. However, it was very strange. Back then, only Lord Alcohol could move freely inside. He could only enter but could not move. Now that he had become a Saint King, he was prepared to explore this place. With a thought, Lin Xian felt the world turn upside down. When he opened his eyes again, he was in that mysterious world. There was an ancient tree in front of him. It had already withered, but it still exuded a mysterious aura. Back then, Lord Alcohol was here. Now that Lord Alcohol was no longer around, the ancient tree remained the same. Lin Xian tried walking forward. One step, he said that he felt a boundless pressure pressing down on him, wanting to tear his body apart. Ta Ren snorted coldly and used his divine body to resist. In the next moment, he realized that he had actually taken a step forward and then a second step. Although he walked very slowly and had to use all his strength to deal with each step, he could indeed walk in this mysterious world. A radius of 100 meters was the maximum range that Lin Xian could move within. Although the distance was very short, Lin Xian was very happy. This was because he knew that this space was very mysterious and vast. As long as he became stronger, he could continue to explore. Although there was only a withered divine tree within a radius of 100 meters, there are good things in other places. Lin Xian stood 100 meters away and looked forward. He realized that there were some spiritual herb seeds on the ground in front of him. No one would notice such things outside, but Lin Xian was happy because he could feel the powerful energy contained in them. If one batch could grow, the power would be unimaginable. Next, Lin Xian cultivated his physique in this mysterious world. The pressure was very beneficial to his 9-yang divine body. There was a black ground and a mysterious cave. There was an extremely strong array around it. It was obvious that this was an important place of the Xiantian pavilion. Ordinary people could not enter at all. At this moment, Jian Wuk was holding a token and walking cautiously in the array. He came to the cave in front of him and stopped. Then he respectfully said, "Lord Xiangtian has arrived." "How is it?" A calm voice came from inside. "Very strong. A peerless genius. Not bad. When the time is right, bring him to see me." Jian Wuk accepted the order and turned to leave. Another 2 months passed. The array outside flashed, and Lin Xian walked out of this mysterious world. A man and a woman were waiting outside. They were the 2 people that Lin Xian had seen before. The man walked over and smiled. "Lin Gongzi, right? I am Jian Shi-san. This is my junior sister, Jian Wu. From now on, we are family." The 2 of them were very polite. Lin Xian smiled. Then he asked, "Oh, right, are we going to fight?" "That's right, it will be soon. But we still have to wait for half a month. We are here to ask young master if you need some cultivation resources." "Are we disturbing young master?" Lin Xian smiled when he heard that. "No, I am not disturbing you. I want to come out and walk around." "Oh, right, you too bring me around the Xiantian pavilion." Since Jian Wu was happy, she said, "But we can only bring you around Elder Wuk's territory. We can't enter the territories of the other elders." Although it was called a territory, it was boundlessly vast. Elder Wuk's territory was filled with sword cultivators. Each of them carried a sword on their back and gave off a cold aura. Jian Wu was very cheerful. She told Lin Xian a lot. She even said that there was a very powerful sword saint under Elder Wu Shuang's command. They formed the sword gate. "Lin Gongzi, why don't I bring you there to take a look?" Okay, Lin Xian was a top swordsman himself. Naturally, he wanted to see these sword saint experts. They passed through a few mountain ranges and found a valley in front. The valley was huge and sword energy filled the sky. It was obviously much stronger than other places. Jian Shi-san pointed ahead. That was where the sword gate was. Lin Xian stood in midair and looked down. Then he was shocked. It was really strong. He realized that there were hundreds of people below. Although there weren't many of them, they were all top sword saints. Their auras were really terrifying. At this moment, these people were training. Their training methods were also very scary. In the valley below, the array flickered and formed 10 spaces. There were a few sword saints in each space, and their opponents were monsters. These beast saints were captured by the elders of the Xiantian pavilion. They were very fierce and had a murderous aura. These people were using these monsters to train. Sword energy swept across. Those monsters were also very scary. Their strength was even more terrifying than these sword saints. In an instant, some sword saints vomited blood and were sent flying. But soon they charged over again. Chapter 45-44. Only by facing stronger opponents could one hone one's swordsmanship. If one were to fight someone weaker than oneself, there would be no point in cultivating. This kind of cultivation was also very dangerous. Every time, someone would be seriously injured. The effect was also very good. The strength of hundreds of swordsmen was very terrifying. They could wipe out thousands of soldiers. It could be said that countless swordsmen wanted to join Sword's Gate. Swordsman Wu explained in detail. Lin Xian nodded slightly after listening. He looked at the 3 figures. These 3 people were very strong, and their swordsmanship was very outstanding. And from the looks of it, they were very young. They were young, peerless swordsmen. Their opponent was a dragon sparrow. It spread its wings, forming endless wind and flames that swept over. The 3 of them fought with it. They were evenly matched. Gradually, the 3 of them gained the upper hand. Countless sword marks were left on the dragon sparrow's body. Blood flowed out. The dragon sparrow was enraged. It attacked crazily, wanting to go all out, but it was firmly suppressed. At this moment, the dragon sparrow roared, and the power in its body burst out. In an instant, the 3 sword saints were sent flying. The dragon sparrow roared to the sky, and the blood in its body burned. It actually tore open the array with one blow. Not good. This guy had hidden his strength before, and now he was going all out. In its current state, the dragon sparrow's power was very terrifying. It was a top existence among the Saint Kings. It was infinitely close to the late-stage Saint King. If it continued to burn its blood, it would definitely reach the late-stage Saint King. In this way, it would be a fatal threat to these sword saints. Damn it. The surrounding sword saints also roared and wanted to attack. But unfortunately, each of them had an opponent. Those monsters roared together and attacked crazily. Damn it. These guys dared to secretly contact each other. The people of Swords Gate were crazy. In the sky, Swordsman Wu and Jian Shisan's expressions changed. Not good. They had heard from Elder Wu Shuang before. This dragon sparrow was very unusual. It had the bloodline of the dragon race, and now it seemed that the bloodline was stronger than expected. Now that he was going all out, it would be difficult to suppress it. Should they inform Elder Wu Shuang? It was probably too late. Jian Shisan's face was pale. The dragon sparrow spread its wings and attacked the 3 geniuses below. The 3 geniuses were also in despair. Were they going to die? They were all top-notch swordsmen and geniuses. Their future achievements were limitless. It was a pity that something unexpected had happened. Just as everyone was in despair, Lin Xian made his move. His figure flashed as he charged downward. In the next moment, he arrived between the 2. Facing the dragon sparrow, Lin Fan slapped out with his palm. The man-ruler seal blasted out with supreme might. A sky-shaking sound rang out. The dragon sparrow was blasted flying. Feathers fell from the sky, carrying endless flames as they pierced through the 9 heavens. So valiant! Many people were surprised. He was saved. The 3 geniuses were also stunned. They looked at the figure in front of them with shock. Who was this person? How could they not know each other? The dragon sparrow was sent flying. It raised its head and roared at the sky. The remaining blood in its veins burned rapidly. In the next moment, he transformed into a flaming divine sword and charged over. The 9 heavens and 10 earths were torn apart. Not good. Quickly dodge. The 3 geniuses roared crazily. Lin Xian's eyes exploded with a biting cold light. This thing didn't know life from death. On his body, endless sword light transformed into a sword god. The unparalleled sword was held in his hand. Slash! The sword chi slashed down, splitting heaven and earth into 2 halves. This sword enveloped the dragon sparrow. Heaven and earth shattered. The dragon sparrow's body split open and fell from the sky. Endless storms swept in all directions. Everyone looked up at the sky in shock. What a powerful sword! This was a peerless sword technique. Who exactly was this person? Boom! 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 The 2 halves of the dragon sparrow fell to the ground, stirring up a lot of dust and shaking the array formation. The surrounding powerful beasts looked at this scene and roared crazily as if they wanted to tear the array formation apart and kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian held the long sword in his hand and snorted coldly. He looked around coldly. With a glance, the beasts trembled and a trace of fear appeared in their hearts. They stopped roaring and retreated one by one. The surrounding people were all stunned. They didn't expect this young man to be so terrifying. Jian Shisan and Jian Wu were also shocked. Was it a sword technique that he used just now? It was so terrifying. They had received news that the other party was a body tempering expert. They didn't expect him to be a peerless swordsman. They didn't know who the young master was. The three geniuses also walked over. They cupped their fists and thanked the young master for saving their lives. Lin Xian smiled. You're too polite. We're on the same side from now on. The three of them were stunned. Who was the young master? At this moment, Jian Wu walked over and smiled. This was the peerless genius that Elder Wuk brought back, Lin Xian Lin Gongzi. So it's you. The surrounding people of Swords Gate were shocked. They had also heard that Elder Wu Shuang brought back a peerless genius and even fought for a spot in the competition. They were still unconvinced before and wanted to see who it was. Now that they saw it, they were shocked. Lin Gongzi, can you teach us sword techniques? Their eyes were filled with excitement. Lin Xian smiled. Sure. In the following days, Lin Xian spent his time in the valley sparring with these people. The strength of these 100 sword saints also improved by leaps and bounds. They were also deeply impressed by Lin Xian's sword techniques. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be about the same age as them. He was even younger than them. His attainments in sword techniques were so high. He was simply a young sword god. After half a month, it was finally time for the competition. At this moment, the atmosphere in the Xiantian pavilion changed. It wasn't just the Xiantian pavilion. The entire Tianxian eastern region became nervous, because this competition was related to the Spirit Path Ancient Land. It was an extremely unusual place. If one could obtain it and cultivate it, it would be of great help to one's cultivation and laws. It could be said that even these saint kings needed it and were determined to obtain it. The legend of the Spirit Path Ancient Land was very magical. A peerless figure had once stayed there, and there was more than one. Even the young great emperor had been there, so it was very magical. It was an ancient land with a mysterious and unfathomable aura, like a fairyland. At this moment, there were already many figures gathered around the Spirit Path Ancient Land. Each of them had a powerful aura and a piercing light in their eyes. Among them, some were here to participate in the competition, and some were here to watch. After all, this was an earth-shattering event. On a few mountain peaks, the people who stayed were very terrifying. Their auras suppressed the 9 heavens. They were the experts of the Eternal River Sect, Battle King Peak, and Ice Feather Hull. These were the most terrifying sects in the Tianxian eastern region. None of them were weaker than Ethereal Sect. Chapter 45-45. The 3 overlords stood there, and the people around them looked up at them. There was an empty space on the mountain next to them, and everyone knew that it was the place of the Xiantian Pavilion. Were the people of the Xiantian Pavilion not here yet? Many people were discussing. They had also received news that the Eternal River Sect and the Frozen Feather Palace were going to join forces. If that was the case, then this battle would probably have an earth-shattering change. They're here, someone exclaimed. Everyone sensed it and saw countless figures flying over from afar, covering the sky and earth. The people of the Xiantian Pavilion. Everyone held their breaths. They saw many powerful figures descending like gods and demons. Behind them were hundreds of sword chi, like peerless divine swords cutting through the void. So terrifying, what is that? That should be one of the teams, the Sword Sect. No, I know the Sword Sect. Although they're terrifying, they're not that powerful. Why do I feel that the Sword Sect has grown into peerless swordsmen? Discussions sounded one after another, and they all looked toward the Sword Sect. Then someone was surprised. Did you see that? In front of those peerless swordsmen, there was a figure. Who was that person? He looked unfamiliar. Everyone's eyes fell on Lin Xian. He seemed to only be an early-stage Saint King. Could such a person lead the Sword Sect? Countless people were surprised. Some people sneered. It seemed that the Xiantian pavilion had lost their minds. How stupid to send such a young man as their leader. This time, the Xiantian pavilion was probably going to lose. Amidst the countless discussions, the people of the Xiantian pavilion landed, and the two great saints in the lead. The Lotus Grand Elder and the Dark Feather Grand Elder. The other three overlords looked over as well. Instantly, laughter could be heard. "You're late enough. I thought you didn't dare to come." The one who spoke was an old man in a blue robe. His face was old, and there was an extremely terrifying phantom of the Eternal River on his body. He was one of the Grand Elders of the Eternal River sect. After hearing that, the Lotus Grand Elder also snorted coldly. What was the use of coming early? Just because he came early, would he be able to win? I think you're thinking too much. The atmosphere between the two sides was a little tense. The aura of the two great saints bloomed, and the laws clashed in the air. Endless cracks spread between heaven and earth. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. It seemed like the rumors were true. Neither of the great saints was willing to submit to the other. "All right, you two don't quarrel as soon as you arrive." Another old woman walked over. This old woman exuded an extremely powerful aura of ice, and she held an ice scepter in her hand. She was also a great saint. After he arrived, he began to smooth things over. On the war god Peak's side, a middle-aged man who looked like a war god also walked over. The atmosphere gradually calmed down. Lin Xian stood on the mountain peak and looked around at the other three overlords. This should be their competitor this time. He saw that these sects were indeed very powerful. None of them were weaker than the ethereal peak. It seemed that the upcoming battle would be a tough one. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath, and a light appeared in his eyes. He already knew that the competition this time was to fight for the Spirit Path Ancient Land. Moreover, if they could succeed, then he would also have the qualifications to enter the Spirit Path Ancient Land. This was an excellent opportunity for him to improve his strength. How could he miss out on a few hundred years of cultivation time? Therefore, he had to win this time. At the front, the great saints of the four major sects discussed for a while. Then a figure walked out and said loudly, "I'm sure everyone knows the rules of the Spirit Path Ancient Land this time. It's simple. Whoever can enter the Spirit Path Ancient Land can enjoy the resources inside. As for what methods you use, we won't care. Now, those who are ready to participate in the competition, walk forward. We'll open the seal of the ancient land." Hearing this, Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked up. The others also walked forward one after another. These were the people who had obtained the qualifications to enter the trial. Near Lin Xian, Lung Feng and the others also walked out. On the other side, the people from the other three major sects also walked out. They were hostile towards each other. Some of them even had cold smiles on their faces. The great saint at the front formed a seal and tore the world apart. Countless Tao patterns intertwined, and a terrifying aura spread out. This Spirit Path Ancient Land was left behind from the ancient times, or even longer. There was an unparalleled aura inside. Now that the seal was opened, a terrifying power swept out. Everyone felt their bodies tremble. Some people were shocked. Even if there were no opponents, it wouldn't be easy to enter. That was true. Ordinary Saint Kings probably didn't have the strength to do so. Lin Xian's lips curled up. He also felt the pressure. However, the resources inside wouldn't disappoint him. "All right, let's begin." After the order was given, countless figures rushed forward. Lin Xian also rose into the air. Looking at the leaving figure, Jen Wuck's lips curled up into a smile. "Little guy, you have to grab hold of this opportunity." Beside him, Jen Wu and Jen Shursan also asked, "Elder, do you think Lin Gongzi will succeed this time?" It was hard to say for others, but Lin Xian should have no problem. Although these people didn't know Lin Xian yet, after this battle, they would all know Lin Xian. One figure after another entered the ancient land. After Lin Xian entered, he also felt a huge pressure. It was so terrifying. It could tear everything to pieces. Boom! He clenched his fist and punched out. The space in front of him split open, shattering the pressure. Then he strode forward. The others also used their own methods. They only had one goal: to enter the center of the ancient land. Some of the more powerful people were able to enter very quickly. They flew in from all directions. They belonged to the people at the front. Countless figures followed behind them. Lin Xian was among them. He belonged to the latter half. He wasn't in a hurry to charge forward because he couldn't make it. He wanted to observe carefully. If Xiantian Pavilion's information was correct, there would definitely be people attacking them. Lin Xian temporarily preserved his strength and flew forward at a certain speed. A figure in front of him had a river of light on his body. It turned into a saber light and slashed out. His speed suddenly exploded. It was obvious that he wanted to charge forward. However, because he was flying too fast, he was knocked back by the power of the Great Tao. He spat out a mouthful of blood and landed near Lin Xian. Lin Xian glanced at him and shook his head. He didn't have the strength to charge forward so quickly. He was courting death. "Kid, why are you shaking your head? Are you mocking me?" Chapter 45-46. The person next to him was incomparably angry. When he saw Lin Xian's expression, he was instantly enraged. There was an extremely cold, murderous intent in his eyes. Lin Xian glanced at him and said indifferently, "Do you still need me to laugh at you? Don't you know your own strength? If you don't have the strength, don't be in a hurry to die. You're courting death." The man was completely enraged. How dare Lin Xian look down on him? "Reckless fool! I want to see what qualifications you have to look down on me." He didn't continue to move forward. Instead, he stopped Lin Xian, his eyes emitting an extremely terrifying aura. A terrifying river appeared on his body. The river surged with monstrous power. Was the battle going to start so soon? The people outside were also extremely surprised when they saw the scene. Who was that kid? He should be from Xiantian Pavilion. However, he looked unfamiliar. Could it be that he was a newcomer? Then he was dead. The one who attacked was from Long River Sect, an extremely terrifying expert. His name was Qi Yuan. What he cultivated was an extremely terrifyingly fire river. Moreover, he was already an expert in the middle stage of the Saint King realm. That kid was only at the early stage of the Saint King realm. He couldn't resist at all. The people from Long River Sect also looked to the side and laughed. "Fellow cultivators from Xiantian Pavilion, I'm afraid one of you will be eliminated." If it was someone else, the spectators from Xiantian Pavilion would definitely be nervous. However, they weren't worried about Lin Xian. Especially those elders, they were all very calm. They had seen Lin Xian's battle before. The elder from Golden Light laughed. "Is that so? The battle hasn't started yet, and you're already so confident? I think you should be the ones who are miserable. The person who will be eliminated this time will definitely be from your Long River Sect." The people from Long River Sect were dumbfounded. These guys had water in their heads. An early stage Saint King realm wanted to resist? What a joke. Then let's wait and see. The elder from Long River Sect snorted coldly. The people from Frozen Feather Palace and Battle King Peak were also surprised. Where did Xiantian Pavilion's confidence come from? Qi Yuan looked at Lin Xian and sneered. "Kid, kneel down obediently now. I can do it." Before he could finish his sentence, he saw a fist flying toward him. In a moment of crisis, he raised his hand to block. The river of flames that filled the sky danced in front of him, forming a shield. The other party couldn't even break through his defense. However, he was wrong. This punch directly shattered his shield and landed on his face. There was a cracking sound. His face was smashed, and the rest of his words were cut off. His entire body flew backward, and the upper half of his body turned into a bloody mist. So much nonsense. Lin Xian withdrew his fist and said indifferently, "I said that you are trash, but you still don't admit it. What's going on? How could that brat be so strong?" The spectators outside were all stunned. The elder of the Long River sect narrowed his eyes. This was impossible. The people from Xiantian Pavilion smirked. They knew that this brat was extremely arrogant and would definitely not suffer a loss. The people from the other two sects were also shocked. When did the Xiantian Pavilion come out? Such a top-level genius. Inside the ancient land, Qi Yuan was dumbfounded. How was this possible? His body recovered, but his expression was extremely ugly. Until now, he still couldn't believe that the other party could injure him. "Damn brat, how dare you injure me? You have thoroughly enraged me. Go to hell." The river that filled the sky charged over with monstrous flames, turning into countless giant dragons that danced and galloped. "Kill!" Lin Xian roared and punched out. At the same time, the primordial demon mountain pressed down from the sky, suppressing the leaf fire river that filled the sky. The man-ruler seal flew out and once again exploded the other party's body. Damn it! Qi Yuan was completely terrified. Who was this guy? He was too strong. He was no match for him. Retreat quickly. He fled to the back. Lin Xian looked at the other party's back and sneered. He struck out a sword chi and destroyed the other party. With this delay, Lin Xian had fallen far behind, but he didn't care. He stomped his feet and grabbed forward with both hands. The entire void was torn into two by him. A vacuum crack appeared, and his speed instantly increased by several times. He was too strong. This brat was an expert. Seeing this scene, countless people were shocked. The people from Xiantian Pavilion had smiles on their faces. Not bad. They were very satisfied with the little brat that Wuk brought. However, the people from Long River sect had ugly expressions. They were defeated by a young man right from the start, which made them lose face. This was especially true after they had arrogantly declared that they would not be defeated. This was a slap to their faces. What was there to be proud of? The elders of Long River sect darkened their faces. It seemed that the plan had begun. Let's do it. They secretly formed seals with their palms and issued an order. Inside the ancient land, the eyes of the people from Long River sect lit up, and then they nodded one by one. The three figures nearby slowly slowed down and approached Lin Xian. Lin Xian's soul was so strong that he instantly sensed it. He immediately narrowed his eyes. Were they going to attack? And there were three of them. He could sense that two of them should be from Long River sect. The other person had a cold aura. Could it be from Ice Feather Palace? They had indeed joined forces. But so what? He didn't care about the three of them. The three of them were hidden in the void. Ordinary people couldn't detect them at all. Perhaps people of the same level didn't know the danger. Lin Xian laughed coldly. "All right, with just this little trick of yours, there's no way you can hide anything from me. Come out." There was no movement around. The three of them were very experienced. They knew that this might be a bluff. Lin Xian said coldly, "What, you still don't want to come out? Do you want me to catch you?" He waved his hand and hit the void behind him. The void there shattered, and a figure retreated with a cold face. They had actually found him. "Kid, since you want to die, we'll fulfill your wish." He flew over. At the same time, the void on both sides shattered and two more figures walked out. The three of them appeared and surrounded Lin Xian. The people outside were stunned when they saw the scene. They were two experts from the Eternal River sect, and one was an expert from the Frost Feather Palace. Unexpectedly, they had attacked together. Sure enough, they had joined forces. That kid was really pitiful. He was besieged by three experts. No matter how strong he was, it would be difficult for him to resist. This time, the people from Xiantian Pavilion were also nervous. Although they knew that Lin Xian was very strong, facing 3 middle-stage Saint Kings, he could only flee. Hopefully he could escape. This time, let's see if you can still laugh. The people from the Long River sect looked over and sneered. The people from Ice Feather Palace also had confident smiles. Not good. Lin Gongzi was in danger. Jian Wu was nervous, her face pale. Jian Shi-san also gritted his teeth. Damn it. So despicable. So many experts bullying a young man. Don't you feel ashamed? Chapter 45-47. Lose face? One of the people on the other side sneered. In front of absolute strength, everything is futile. Our goal is only the ancient land. Anyone who dares to block our path will be killed. Damn it. Elder Goldenlight's expression was also cold. Quickly inform those people that they must pay attention. They must not be besieged again. The only one who was calm was Jian Wuk. Jian Wuk naturally knew Lin Xian's strength. Even a late-stage Sage King could not do anything to Lin Xian. He could even block the attack of a great sage. These 3 middle-stage Saint Kings would not be able to do anything to him. However, his expression also darkened because the other party's actions angered him. Brat, you killed our Eternal River Sect's people. You really have guts. I originally wanted to let you die easily, but now it seems that is not possible. The woman from Frostfeather Hall snorted coldly. Why waste time talking to him? Just finish him off. All right, since the fairy has spoken, let's end this quickly. As soon as they finished speaking, their eyes shone with a piercing light. Terrifying laws flew out from their bodies, sweeping through the 9 heavens. It seemed that they did not intend to hold back at all. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a smile. Joining forces? Are you sure? His eyes shone with a golden light as he looked at the woman from Frostfeather Hall. The woman in blue was stunned. In the next moment, her eyes shone with a golden light as well. She stopped and slapped at the Eternal River Sect's people beside her. Boom! Ice and snow danced, forming a world of ice and snow. The expert beside her was instantly sent flying. Endless ice and snow appeared on his body, and then he was turned into an ice sculpture. What's going on? The other person from the Eternal River Sect was stunned. Why did the other party attack him? Didn't they join forces? Damn it, what are you doing? However, just as he finished speaking, the woman attacked him again. The monstrous ice and snow melted and attacked continuously. That person was forced to retreat. Ice and snow appeared on his body. Damn it, do you want to die? The power of the Eternal River erupted, forming 9 rivers that surrounded him. Are you crazy? Not only him, but the people outside were also stunned. The elders of the Eternal River Sect could not believe it. They turned their heads to look at the Frostfeather Palace. Damn it, what's going on? Didn't we agree on this? Didn't you tell your people? The people of Frostfeather Palace were also stunned. How could this be? I've said it long ago. Damn it, what the hell is going on? In an instant, countless people were discussing. Meanwhile, in the valley below, those people had already started fighting. Lin Xian stood with his hands clasped behind his back, completely forgetting about this scene. The corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. These people could not withstand his eye technique at all. Therefore, with just a few tricks, these people were no match for him at all. Great, these guys are going to fight. The sword danced and cheered. Jian Shi-san was also surprised. Lin Gongzi's luck was really good to actually be able to encounter such a thing. Wuk's eyes flickered. Was he lucky? He did not think so. Come to think of it, he must have used an eye technique. Ancient lands. Many people were still charging ahead. A figure stood in the void, looking into the distance. His body carried endless blade light. He was called Lung Feng. Lung Feng looked at the battle in the distance and was also surprised. This kid was a little interesting. Luck was also a part of strength. On the other side, a tall man's face sank. He did not encounter me. Encountering me, no matter how good his luck is, it will turn into nothingness. Another woman also flew over. Her face was cold, and she had a pair of blue wings on her back. She frowned and said, "Chongqing, I don't know what happened before, but it's certain that we joined hands. I think something unexpected must have happened." This woman was a very terrifying expert of the Frost Feather Palace. Her name was Bingwei. The other man was an expert of the Eternal River sect. His name was Chongqing. Chongqing frowned slightly after hearing that, but he soon smiled. "That's natural. Both of us joined hands and went in to confirm this matter. Don't bother with those ants. It's not a problem at all. Our opponents this time are still others. For example, that lung foam." Speaking of this, Chongqing's eyes burst out with an extremely cold light. This time, I must trample him under my feet. On the other side, Lin Xian did not care about those people at all. He soared into the sky and went on his way again, like a golden god of war. His speed and strength were extremely powerful, surpassing many people. The surrounding people were shocked. However, Lin Xian had defeated Qi Yuan and was extremely lucky to escape the pursuit of the three people. For a while, they did not dare to make a move on this kid. Lin Xian was naturally happy to see this. His speed was very fast, and soon he surpassed most people and came to the front. There were still some people in front, but their numbers were very small. These people's auras were incomparably terrifying. There were also some changes in the terrain in front of him. There were some ancient stairs. It seemed that one had to go through these stairs to reach the destination. A golden light swept across his eyes, and he looked at the people on the stairs. There were not many people, but without exception, they were all very powerful. They had surpassed most people and had a very good chance of entering the real ancient land. These people are very strong. It's interesting that they can make me take them seriously. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a smile. There were 6 figures on the stairs, and they turned their heads to look at him. There was a terrifying power in their eyes. These people were also experts. At this moment, they stood here and did not immediately go forward. Instead, they looked behind them. It seemed that they were planning to clean up some people. They took the lead to look at Lin Xian, and an extremely sharp light appeared in their eyes. Although this kid was only in the early stage of the Holy King realm, he was not to be underestimated. Even so, he could not defeat the 6 of them. Lin Xian also saw these 6 people. Suddenly, the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile, and his figure flashed and rushed over. The 6 people were instantly angry. Was he looking for death? He was challenging them. There were other directions to go forward, but this guy did not choose to go in their direction. If this was not a challenge to them, what was it? It couldn't be. That guy was going to attack the 6 of them? What a joke. Who did he think he was? Did he think that he would be so lucky every time? The people who were watching the battle outside went crazy. The 6 people snorted coldly, and when they joined forces, they struck out a terrifying law. It was like a canyon between heaven and earth, blocking everything. There was only one outcome for those who went against them, and that was death. In the face of such a terrifying joint attack, Lin Xian did not have the slightest intention of retreating. Instead, he sped up. He pressed forward, and no one could stop his footsteps. He was looking for death. They had already warned him. Since he did not know what was good for him, he could not blame them. Chapter 45-48. The 6 of them attacked. Terrifying laws and vast heaven and earth charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian formed a seal with both hands. In the sky, the primordial demon mountain descended. Heaven and earth kept shaking as if it was going to suppress everything. Boom! This mountain was really too terrifying. It was as if it had crossed through time and space. The laws between heaven and earth kept shattering. The pupils of the six figures also shrank. Damn it, retreat quickly. They retreated one after another. The power of this mountain was beyond their imagination. Kill! As they retreated, they attacked again. Lin Xian waved his fists and fought with them, causing their arms to go numb. In the blink of an eye, the two sides had already collided. Then, Lin Xian stood on the primordial demon mountain and looked down at the surroundings. The six people around him retreated with pale faces. Their faces were full of shock. The power displayed by the other party was too strong, so strong that it was beyond their imagination. For a moment, they did not dare to make a move easily. They even suspected that Lin Xian was really lucky to escape from the attacks of the three of them. Was it not because he used other secret techniques? The surrounding people were stunned when they saw this scene. This guy was really strong and he was too bold. The Xiantian pavilion also held their breaths. Swordsman Wu's face was pale and nervous to the extreme. Jian Shi-san also said, "I'm afraid I've seen a scene that I haven't seen in 1,000 years." Next, there would be an earth-shattering battle. Everyone was looking forward to it. He wondered if Lin Xian would be able to withstand it. However, to everyone's surprise, there was no battle. The six figures fell silent. They turned their heads and seemed to be deliberately avoiding Lin Xian. On the primordial demon mountain, Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. It seemed that these people were afraid when facing him. Thinking of this, he sneered. Those who were timid in their hearts were not worthy of being his opponent. He turned around and soared into the sky. He continued to fly forward. The situation here surprised everyone. They did not expect that the six experts would not dare to make a move even after joining forces. Could it be that they were not confident in their hearts? The eyes of the great saints watching the battle lit up when they saw this. The elder of the Xiantian pavilion smiled. Great, they had found Xiao Ji this time. They were very satisfied. It was beyond their expectations. The Lotus ancestor nodded in satisfaction. The young disciples of the Xiantian pavilion were shocked. Their patriarch was a great sage. There were very few people who could satisfy their patriarch. At least, they hadn't seen it yet. The experts of the Eternal River Sect and Frost Feather Palace looked extremely cold. Their great saints snorted coldly. At present, it seemed to be doing well, but whether or not it could continue to grow was still unknown. Only a genius who matured would be a true peerless genius. Evidently, they were very displeased with such a scene. Inside the ancient land, Lin Xian escaped the siege of the six experts and continued to rush forward. He was getting closer and closer to the central area. At this point, he had already surpassed the vast majority of the crowd. The number of people in front of him was gradually dwindling until only a few were left. Lin Xian knew one of them. It was Lung Feng. There were a few other unfamiliar faces. They were experts from other sections. However, their auras were extremely terrifying. The few figures in front turned their heads and looked at Lin Xian with a hint of surprise in their eyes. They did not expect that Lin Xian was qualified to come here. Lung Feng was also surprised. He had also seen the scene before. The six experts did not dare to make a move. One could imagine how invincible Lin Xian was in that moment. This guy was beyond his imagination. He was indeed qualified to come here. He now recognized Lin Xian's strength. Moreover, Lin Xian belonged to their camp. He could help him fight against the other experts. Buzz. After Lin Xian arrived, another ear-piercing sound rang out from behind them. Everyone was even more surprised. Who else could come? They turned their heads and discovered that the person who had arrived this time was an expert from the Battle King Peak. He was also very young. His strength and physique were very strong. The fact that he could come here was enough to prove it. Interesting. An expert from the Long River sect smiled. He did not expect a dark horse to appear this time. Unfortunately, you came at the wrong time. You met me. I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to continue. A woman from the Ice Feather Palace said coldly. She said that there were too many people. She had to get rid of a few. As soon as she said that, their faces changed. Many people's eyes fell on Lin Xian. At the same time, the young man who came later also received attention. The two of them were newcomers. It was not easy for them to come here. Who should they get rid of first? Only these two people. If you want to get rid of them, you can try. Lung Feng walked out. His body was emitting a terrifying saber light. Do you think you can touch the people of the Xiantian Pavilion as you wish? Lung Feng, do you think no one can suppress you? The expert from the Long River sect walked out. His name was Chongqing. His aura was abnormally terrifying. Today, I want to see if your saber technique is as powerful as the legends say. The aura between the two of them was getting colder. At this time, Lin Xian also spoke. You wanted to kill me before. You want to get rid of me? I want to see if you have the right to do so. Hearing this, the surrounding people were shocked. In their eyes, it was normal for Lung Feng and Chongqing to confront each other. After all, both of them were top experts from different sections. Neither of them was willing to submit to the other. When Lin Xian walked out, they felt that he was overestimating himself. No matter how strong this guy was, could he be stronger than Lung Feng? Could he compete with Chongqing? Sure enough, Chongqing sneered. Reckless brat, you are not qualified to be my opponent. Whether you are qualified or not, you will know once you try. You released your killing intent to me before. Today, no matter what, I will not let you go. Lin Xian walked out with a terrifying killing intent emanating from his body. Lung Feng also frowned. Junior brother Lin, let me deal with this person. He knew how terrifying Chongqing was. Lin Xian looked at Lung Feng and smiled. Don't worry, he doesn't need senior brother Lung's help. I can deal with him. Bing Wei and the others were stunned. They could not believe it. Chongqing was also stunned. After a while, he looked up to the sky and laughed. His voice was cold. Lung Feng, I didn't expect an arrogant guy to come out of the Xiantian Pavilion. Since he wants to die, I will fulfill his wish. The people outside were in an uproar. They did not expect Lin Xian to dare to challenge Chongqing. In their eyes, it was too difficult. Lung Feng was probably the only one who could compete with Chongqing. Isn't this guy a little too reckless? Sword Dance and the others were worried for Lin Xian. The people from the Long River sect sneered. They did not know what was good for them. The great saint sneered. Sure enough, only those who survived were true geniuses. Some geniuses were probably going to fall now. They believed that Chongqing could definitely kill Lin Feng easily. Eliminating a genius with potential would be a great blow to the Xiantian Pavilion. Chapter 45-49. Ignorant brat, let me deal with you personally. It will be your honor. Chongqing walked out. As he walked out, 3,000 das surged under his feet, looking like 3,000 great das. This number was extraordinary. The law energy in Chongqing's body surged continuously. He was almost a late-stage holy venerate. This fellow was even stronger than before. Lung Feng frowned. Even if Lung Feng wanted to make a move, it would be a bitter battle. In fact, Lung Feng was only 50% confident of defeating the other party. If he let Lin Xian make a move now, how confident would he be? Less than 50%. This fellow hid his strength earlier. Bing Wei's lips curled up in a smile. It looked like there was no more suspense in this battle. 3,000 Long River. Peak cultivation. Chongqing was indeed a powerful expert. The people outside sighed in amazement. The Long River sect's people smiled coldly as they looked at the Profound Heaven Pavilion. The Profound Heaven Pavilion's people also frowned heavily. Sword Dance. They felt extremely anxious. Elder, send a voice projection to Lin Gongzi. Don't let him fight. That's right. The Long River sect will definitely try to kill him. If Lin Gongzi loses, he might die. The other elders also looked over. However, Jian Wuk took a deep breath. Very soon, you will see that his strength is far beyond your imagination. Jian Wuk did not say anything else. Instead, he looked forward to it. Just wait. Wait for Lin Xian to show off his brilliance. Lin Xian felt the terrifying law energy from the other party and nodded slightly. The other party was indeed very strong. He was much stronger than the others that Lin Xian had seen. He was still not a match for Lin Xian. Chang Qing's serious expression attracted the mockery of the surrounding people. Bing Wei shook her head and smiled coldly. This fellow did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. Making a move now was not a wise choice. Indeed, when Chang Qing heard that, his expression turned completely cold. The killing intent in his eyes materialized into a sword that pierced through the sky. Foolish ant. Soon, you will not be able to remain arrogant. The sword formed by Chang Qing's gaze directly flew out. Terrifying law energy circled it as it pierced through the sky. Even a middle stage, Holy King would not be able to block this attack. He would be torn to shreds. Countless people cried out in alarm. They were hoping that Lin Xian would be fast enough to dodge this attack. However, Lin Xian did not dodge at all. Instead, he extended a hand and grabbed forward. What an idiot! Many people sneered. Could it be that Yi Futian really thought that he had the strength to contend against Chang Qing? Boom! An earth-shattering sound erupted between heaven and earth. Countless cracks spread out in all directions with the two of them as the center. Everyone thought that Lin Xian would have ceased to exist under that attack, or that he would have been torn apart. It's over. Bing Wei shook her head. The other experts also sighed. They were too weak. Lung Feng's face was cold. He pulled out the long saber on his back and was ready to attack. Suddenly he froze. No way. Lung Feng's face was filled with shock. The smiles on the faces of the others also disappeared. They saw a golden palm reach out from the cracks that filled the sky. It shone with boundless radiance, completely unharmed. The sharp gaze arrow was caught by the golden palm. It was like a fish, unable to escape at all. I told you, you are not strong enough to be arrogant in front of me. Lin Xian's voice rang out. He exerted force in his palm, and the sharp gaze arrow shattered into pieces, falling from his fingers. This guy actually managed to block it. Has his physique already reached such a level? Countless people exclaimed. The experts of the Long River sect could not believe it. The people of the Xiantian Pavilion also exclaimed. Elder Golden Light's face was filled with shock. He looked at Jian Wuk and asked, could this guy have the legendary physique of the universe? The difference in cultivation between the two of them was too great. Other than the immemorial imperial physique, only the legendary physiques could block it. However, he did not know which physique Yi Futian was. Jian Wuk smiled. That's right, it is indeed the legendary physique. As for the specifics, you will know when you continue watching. The elder of the Golden Light sect was very displeased. You're still keeping us in suspense. However, he was also filled with anticipation. He did not know what kind of power this guy would display next. Why? Is this your strength? I don't deserve to be arrogant. Lin Xian looked forward and smiled faintly. Chang Qing's face was ashen. He gritted his teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. He could not believe that Yi Futian was qualified to block his attack. The laws around his body bloomed with a dazzling light. He took a step forward and shouted coldly, "Good kid! So you have been hiding your strength and even cultivated a powerful body refinement technique. However, so what if you have cultivated the Zhang 6 golden body? You are still not my match." The 3,000-long river seemed to have come alive as it rushed over. It was too terrifying. Everyone exclaimed in shock. Once again, they were worried for Lin Xian. Lin Xian was not afraid. He stretched out his palm and divine flames surged into the sky. forming a golden crow that swept in all directions. Boom! 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 He punched out and collided with the 3,000-long river. A terrifying power surged. The battle was extremely intense. He blocked it. He really blocked it. The Zhang 6 Golden Body Elder was extremely excited. He looked at Lin Xian as if he was looking at a treasure. Yi Fuqian's physique was really too strong. It surprised him. Chang Qing's face was cold. Yi Fuqian was actually able to contend with him and not be at a disadvantage. Damn it. 3,000 as one. Suddenly he let out a roar. His biting cold voice spread out in all directions. The 3,000-long river quickly merged, forming a long river that was eternal and unique. Accompanying it was an extremely terrifying power of laws. It seemed to have turned into a peerless divine sword, causing countless people to be terrified. Slash! The long river descended from the sky and destroyed everything. Its aura made people's hair stand on end. Countless people were terrified. It was too powerful. This was the ultimate technique of the Long River sect. When Chongqing used it, it was really terrifying to the extreme. Lin Xian naturally felt a sense of danger. It was very powerful, but so what? He roared, and the smile on his face disappeared. The 9-yang divine body was completely released as he punched out. It was like a sun between heaven and earth, charging forward. A dazzling light illuminated the entire ancient land. No one could open their eyes. Elder golden lights, pupils constricted. What a terrifying power. It was like the light of the sun. Could it be the legendary 9-yang divine body? Boom! 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 The power shook the sky. With a punch, it destroyed everything. The only long river was sent flying. It was covered with cracks. The vast sea swept across the sky. Chongqing was also sent flying. Heavens, what a terrifying power! Was he really just an early-stage Saint King? What kind of physique was that? How could it be so terrifying? The spectators outside were in an uproar, their voices shaking the 9 heavens. The experts of the Long River sect also couldn't believe it. They were very confident in Chongqing's strength. How could he be sent flying? One of the great saints said coldly, his eyes bursting with terrifying light. Could it be the legendary divine body? Chapter 4550. The divine body of 9-yang, a body of pure yang. It was rumored to be a very powerful body. Who would have thought that it would appear now? Hearing the great saint's words, the surrounding people were in an uproar. No wonder this kid was so strong. He had a super strong body. Many envious voices sounded. The people of Xiantian Pavilion were also very surprised. With such a body, his future achievements would be limitless. In the ancient land, Chongqing's expression became very ugly. Bingwei also said, "Be careful. This guy's body is very unusual. It might be the legendary divine body." Divine body? Chongqing's eyes shone fiercely. So what? Kid, if you were at the same level as me, I would turn around and run. Unfortunately, you just entered the Saint King realm, and I'm about to enter the late stage of the Saint King realm. Even if you have a divine body, I will suppress you today. The palm continued to close in, and the single river once again transformed into 3,000 rivers, which swirled around him and fused with him, just like War Armor Class 1. Not only that, but the power in his body also gave off an incomparable aura. Although I don't have the Taigu Imperial body, and my body is not as strong as your divine body, my attainments and divine powers in the Great Path are not something you can imagine. Now, I will let you feel my divine powers and precepts. Terrifying power spread out in all directions. It was indeed much stronger than before. Countless people were amazed. The people of the Long River sect also laughed. Indeed, Chongqing's talent in divine powers and profound meanings was rare. It could definitely make up for the difference in physique. More importantly, his cultivation level was much higher than his opponents. So, it was not certain who would win this battle. The 3,000 rivers are all under my control. What do you have to fight me? Chongqing waved his hand again as soon as he finished speaking. Terrifying power surged and formed a cage in an instant, trapping Lin Xian within. Lin Xian struck out with a terrifying fist. He turned into a golden crow and fought back. Useless kid. Chongqing huffed coldly. He also used his trump card. Lin Xian was definitely not his match. As the long rivers surged, the sky and the earth cracked, causing the spectators to continuously retreat. Even Lung Feng was shocked. Lin Xian still had such a secret technique? This was truly beyond his expectations. Man Ruler Seal. Lin Xian huffed coldly. Man Ruler Seal. He slapped out and shattered Chongqing's attack. Chongqing roared, and his 3,000 clones returned to the Celestial Kingdom. 3,000 phantoms ran between the heavens and the earth, connecting with each other. Each of the phantoms formed a seal, and there was a vast surging power, like the sound of the heavens. It was as if the Celestial Kingdom. Lin Xian frowned slightly. The other party's divine ability and nomological laws were indeed very powerful. However, it was time to end this round. The ancient demonic mountain and Celestial Kingdom. The Man Ruler Seal swept through the 3,000 doppelgangers. His divine body was pushed to the extreme, and both sides fought fiercely. Bang! Bang! After an intense collision, Lin Xian retreated. His face was pale, but his gaze was even sharper. On the other side, the 3,000 doppelgangers split apart. Chongqing's body fell from the sky and was suppressed by the immemorial demonic mountain. The laws of divine abilities were indeed very strong, but that was all there was to it. Lin Xian stood on the primordial demon mountain and looked down. Chongqing, Celestial Xian. The people who were watching the battle outside were stunned. The people of the Eternal River sect couldn't believe it. Damn it, was the divine body so powerful? Lin Xian was only at the early stage of the Saint King realm. If he reached the late stage of the Saint King realm, how powerful would he be? They couldn't imagine. A Supreme Saint sighed and looked at Frostfeather Hall. It's the end. Let's do it. The old woman nodded. Then she formed a seal and sent a note in. Inside, Bingwei heard the news. She took a deep breath. Her eyes flashed coldly and she slapped out. An icy wind shot out and danced in the air as it charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's divine fire turned into a golden crow and fought against it. In the end, he flew down from the ancient demonic mountain and attacked Bingwei. Chongqing used the 3,000 rivers and blasted open the ancient demonic mountain. Damn it! He roared at the sky and spat out a mouthful of blood. It was too embarrassing. He was defeated by a newcomer in front of tens of thousands of strong cultivators. It was truly a loss of face. He said, "Let's work together. This is the final moment. Kill all the people of the Xiantian Pavilion. This ancient land will be ours." That's right. Bingwei also walked out. The ice on her body made her look like a goddess of ice. It seemed that the final battle was about to begin. Countless people were surprised. Lung Feng stood out. "Do you think the Xiantian Pavilion is afraid of you?" Lin Xian was even stronger than Chongqing. He could deal with Bingwei without any problem. They still had the advantage. But soon their advantage was gone. After Chongqing and Bingwei, another man walked out. This person also had a terrifying cold aura around him. It was another person from Frostfeather Hall. His name was Hanyu. He was also a terrifying expert of the middle generation. 3 against 2. It would be dangerous. Many people exclaimed. The people of the Xiantian Pavilion also frowned. They would be suppressed, but they still had a chance. Even if they couldn't win, they could escape unscathed. With just you, I'm not afraid, even if there's one more person. Lung Feng roared angrily. The saber light on his body was biting cold. It was time to go all out. Chongqing sneered. Why do you think it's 2 against 3? Are you confident? You're so naive. Do you think the Long River sect only has this little trump card? If there's one more person, can you still resist? Is there anyone else? The surrounding people were all stunned. Does the Long River sect still have experts? The people of the Xiantian pavilion frowned. They looked at the Long River sect. What are you doing? Are you bluffing? The elder of the Long River sect sneered. You'll find out soon. This time, everyone from the Xiantian pavilion will be eliminated. No one will be able to enter. As soon as he finished speaking, the stalwart man who had been silent all this time walked out. He was an expert from the Battle King Peak. He was like a god of war who had been watching the battle silently. At this moment he moved. He walked forward and stood beside Chongqing. What? Countless people were stunned. They couldn't believe it. The Battle King Peak had joined forces with the Long River sect? What was going on? For experts against 2. This was a complete suppression. It was over. This time, the Xiantian pavilion was really finished. These 4 experts, in addition to the Dark Horse Battle King Foam, were equivalent to 5 against 2. It could be said that the pressure was very great. Lin Xian's side was in danger. Damn it. When did you make a move? The elder of the Xiantian pavilion roared. Jian Wuk also frowned. Their information was that the Frostfeather Hall had joined forces with the other party, but they didn't expect the Battle King Peak to join forces with them. Chapter 45-51. The surrounding people were stunned. The 3 overlords were actually working together to deal with Xiantian Pavilion. Xiantian Pavilion would definitely lose this time. In the ancient land, Xiantian Pavilion only had Lin Xian and Lung Feng. No matter how the 2 of them fought against the 5 of them, they had no chance of winning. Thinking of the situation that Lin Xian and the others were about to face, they all felt a chill run down their spine. Many people felt their scalps go numb. So this is their true trump card. Jian Wuk frowned. Jian Wu, Jian Shisan, and the other youngsters were completely stunned. They felt despair. In the ancient land, the man from Battle King Peak was called Feng Zhan. He said loudly, Lung Feng, take your men and leave. Otherwise, you will end up in a miserable state. Lung Feng also said, I didn't expect you to work together with them. Where's your pride? The people from Battle King Peak were extremely arrogant and disdained to work together with others. Hence, Lung Feng didn't expect such a situation. Feng Zhan shook his head. Nothing is absolute in this world. They gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse. All right, I can let Lung Feng go. As for this brat, I want him to die. Chongqing stared at Lin Xian, his eyes filled with killing intent. Previously, he had lost to Lin Xian in front of everyone. He couldn't accept it. He had to kill Lin Xian to prove himself. Lung Feng's expression changed. Damn it, how dare you? Aren't you afraid that Xiantian Pavilion will attack you? One had to know that defeating and killing were 2 different concepts. Lung Feng, get lost quickly. Otherwise, I will kill you too. Chongqing roared, his eyes filled with terrifying killing intent. You want to kill me? Just you. Is this your final trump card? What a joke! I thought it was a powerful trump card. Lin Xian's laughter resounded in the area. The surrounding people were stunned. Is this madness before death? I think this brat has gone crazy from despair. That's right. If such a lineup isn't desperate, what kind of trump card does he have? This is a scene of certain death. You are still laughing when you are about to die. You are really hopeless. Bing Wei snorted. Lin Xian ignored her. He looked at Lung Feng and said, I will give you 2 people. You don't have to defeat them. You just have to ensure that you are not injured. What about the remaining 3 people? Lung Feng asked. Lin Xian said proudly, leave the remaining 3 to me. I will let them know what true despair is. You want to fight 1 against 3. Lung Feng exclaimed. Countless people were stupefied. Was this brat speaking the truth? Chongqing laughed loudly. Bingwei, did you hear that? What did he say? He wanted to fight 1 against 3. Brat, even if the weakest 3 were given to you, you still wouldn't be able to defeat them. Not to mention 3, even 2 people would be enough to completely suppress you. I've said it before. Your trump cards are nothing in front of me. Do you think you're strong just because you've joined hands today? I will let you know the consequences of offending me. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. Then he said, Leave these 3 to me. As for the other 2, you can deal with them yourself. After he finished speaking, his large hand swept across the sky and slapped forward. This move enveloped Chongqing, Bingwei, and Fengzhan. These were the 3 strongest people. You're courting death. Bing was slightly angry. Was the other party looking down on her? Fengzhan's face also darkened. I want to see how arrogant you are. Chongqing laughed loudly. Stupid ant, I'll kill you in 1 move. As soon as the 3 of them finished speaking, a terrifying power soared into the sky and attacked the palm in the sky. In an instant, the wind and clouds changed, and countless large cracks spread out. The people in the distance were stunned when they saw the scene. Were they really going to fight? Many people closed their eyes, not daring to see Lin Xian's end. Was there still hope? The elders of Xiantian Pavilion also sighed. Lin Xian was strong and could defeat Chongqing. He also had a divine body, but unfortunately he was facing 3 experts this time. Whether it was Bingwei or Fengzhan, they were not weaker than Chongqing. If Lin Xian's cultivation had reached the middle stage of the Saint King realm, he would definitely have the strength to fight. But it was still too early now. Not good. Lung Feng saw this scene and wanted to intervene, but in the end, another expert from Ice Feather Palace and the Dark Horse from Battle King Peak stopped him. Your opponent is us. The aura from the 2 of them was equally terrifying. Lung Feng's face was cold. Even he felt pressured when facing 2 experts, let alone Lin Xian, who was facing 3 people. In front, Bingwei and the other 2 completely surrounded Lin Xian. They released their laws, wanting to suppress Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood there and felt the pressure around him, but the corner of his mouth curled up in a cold smile. The 3 of them were indeed strong. When the 3 of them joined forces, it was even more terrifying. They had already surpassed Zhang Songsheng and the other 2. But so what? Back then, the Holy Heaven's old ancestor had not been able to kill him, let alone the 3 of them. Kid, you should be proud that you can die in our hands. Chongqing said coldly. Indeed, it was a great honor for Lin Xian to be attacked by the 3 experts. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. Do you really think that the 3 of you can kill me? I'll give you a chance to scram. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. You're courting death. Hurry up and attack. The 3 of them released their laws. Lin Xian snorted as well. His 9-yang divine body shone brightly as if he had turned into a sun war god. Powerful energy surged out in an instant. When the 3 of them felt the energy, their faces changed. Especially Chongqing, who was extremely shocked. He realized that his current power was even stronger than when he had fought with Lin Xian previously. In other words, Lin Xian did not use his full strength when he fought with Lin Xian previously. Damn it! How strong is Lin Xian now? Let's go. At this moment, Fengzhan attacked. He punched out, and the wind blades that filled the sky gathered on his fist. He then slammed it forward. This palm was called the Divine Wind Palm. This was War King Peak's ultimate skill. The people in the distance exclaimed. This ability was extremely terrifying. With a single palm, the wind and clouds of the 9 heavens changed. It could instantly destroy a world. Bing Wei also attacked. Her palms formed a seal, and 2 ice phoenixes appeared, intertwining with each other. They attacked Lin Xian from two different directions. The sky was filled with ice, freezing the surroundings. The ice laws could freeze everything. Go to hell, kid. Chongqing also attacked. The 3,000 rivers turned into one, circling around his palm as he slammed it out. The three top-notch fighters struck out at Lin Xian at that moment. If Lin Xian could not withstand it, he would be instantly turned into ashes. It's over. This battle is over. The person in the distance sighed. The people of the Eternal River sect sneered. He was proud enough to be famous in the world, even though he had fallen from today onwards. It was a pity for such a genius. The experts of the Frostfeather Hall also sighed. The people of the Xiantian Pavilion gritted their teeth. Damn it. The two great saints also looked gloomy, and their eyes were emitting a biting, cold, killing intent. They did not attack because the other three sects also had great saints. If they attacked, the flames of war would be even greater. When the time came, there would be no end to it. They could only say that they were not prepared enough to let the three sects join forces. Chapter 4552. Lin Xian took a deep breath in the face of the three's attacks. He stopped smiling. In the next moment, he attacked the wind god palm with his man-ruler seal. Boom! He exerted the power of his divine body to the extreme. Like a man-ruler, he struck out with his palm, extinguishing the storm in the sky. When the two collided, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The wind god palm was instantly suppressed and became dim. Boom! After a moment of stalemate, the wind god palm was shattered. Feng Zhan retreated, his face pale. How is this possible? He couldn't believe that his full strength attack couldn't do anything to Lin Xian. What kind of palm was that just now? It was like a celestial emperor had descended with boundless dominance. After repelling Feng Zhan, Lin Xian condensed countless laws in his left hand, forming a sword qi that slashed at the two ice phoenixes. The sword slashed out, the sky fell, and the earth cracked. The ice and sword qi of the two ice phoenixes collided, creating a loud sound. Countless amounts of frost attempted to seal the sword qi. However, the might of this sword qi was simply too strong. The sword qi was incomparably sharp and could destroy everything. The two ice phoenixes were split apart by the sword. Fairy Bingwei was also sent flying, vomiting blood. Her face was full of shock. In the blink of an eye, the two experts were injured and retreated, leaving only Chongqing. Facing the terrifying palm, Lin Xian didn't attack. The golden light in his eyes burst out, forming endless runes. Are you arrogant? Are you strong? But you can't even withstand a single blow from me. Actually, you're just an ant. Lin Xian's soul attack rushed into the opponent's mind, causing his confidence to collapse. Chongqing roared crazily as if he had gone mad. He also vomited blood. The surrounding people were stunned. Facing the top attacks of three experts, this was a scene of certain death. Lin Xian only threw out a punch, a sword, and a gaze, and it was enough to destroy the situation. This was simply heaven-defying. Damn it, I'm not dreaming, am I? Countless people exclaimed. The Eternal River sect's experts' pupils shrank. Impossible, how did he do it? The people of the Ice Palace also sucked in a cold breath. That sword was too sharp. Didn't he have a divine body? How could he be an unparalleled swordsman? Could a person be proficient in two divine arts? No, it wasn't just two. There was a final gaze. A single glance was enough to cause Chongqing to collapse. This was definitely a soul attack. This person actually possessed three ultimate techniques. It was truly inconceivable. At this moment, the great sage's eyes also exploded with a piercingly cold light as he stared fixedly at Lin Xian. Supreme, Saint Darkfeather laughed. What a sure death situation. What an exceptional genius. He sneered. Geniuses were geniuses, regardless of whether they were alive or dead. They were incomparable to others. The faces of the great saints of the other sex turned cold. Those youngsters, on the other hand, were in complete disbelief. In the face of such an attack, they probably wouldn't even have the chance to retaliate. Little did they know that although Lin Xian had only used 3 moves, they were the combination of his mystiques and ultimate techniques. Physique, sword art, and eye technique were all his strongest attacks. Therefore, defeating 3 powerful opponents in 3 moves was completely within his expectations. It's too early for you to be happy. Long River Sex, old Zhang, snorted coldly. Although he had defeated the 3 of them, they still had the strength to fight. What that brat used just now should be his strongest technique, right? How many times could he use that kind of technique? Victory and defeat were decided. In the ancient land, Feng Zhan sighed. I've really underestimated you. The power of the divine body is indeed worthy of its reputation. However, the 3 of us still have many trump cards and ultimate techniques that we haven't used yet. So, you should be prepared to face despair. With an angry roar, he charged forward. He was also an expert in close combat. His physique was very strong, and he cultivated the Battle King Peak's ultimate treasure body. Bing Wei and Chongqing were the same. They also charged forward. Lin Xian snorted coldly without fear. He used the 10 ultimate swords with one hand and formed a powerful fist with the other. At the same time, his eyes opened and closed, causing one's soul to tremble. Kill. Lin Xian attacked. He punched out, destroying everything. That fist seemed to have turned into a peerless sun, bringing with it unparalleled power. Another sword, slash, destroyed heaven and earth. Lin Xian's sword chi didn't stop. It turned into the sharpest divine sword, and nothing could stop it. As for his soul eye technique, when his gaze swept across everyone's soul, it was as if it was about to split open. They withstood the immense pressure. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian took the initiative to attack. The first to collapse was Chongqing. His soul was once again severely injured. He spat out blood and flew backward. Then he was cut in half by the sword chi. Feng Zhan retreated again. At this moment, his body turned into a bloody mist. In front of the powerful divine body, his ultimate treasure body couldn't withstand a single blow. Ice Phoenix condensed a sky full of frost, trying to freeze the sword light that was coming over. However, she failed. This sword strike turned her arms into nothingness. The 3 of them had been defeated previously, and this time the 3 of them were seriously injured. The battle was very fast. It seemed to have ended in the blink of an eye. Lin Xian stood there, as if he hadn't used all his strength. Damn it! What kind of sword technique are you cultivating? Ice Phoenix gritted her teeth and roared. She felt that it wasn't any weaker than the 9-yang divine body. It was definitely a legendary sword technique. And that a technique, although it wasn't deliberately targeted at them, it still made their hair stand on end. They knew that the other party was unfathomable. Perhaps only a late-stage expert could suppress him. The others couldn't. They had lost this battle. They smiled bitterly. They couldn't accept it. But that was the truth. We lost this battle. We won't go to our destination. Bing Wei shook her head. On the other side, Lung Feng also stopped. The other 2 didn't attack anymore. They were already scared out of their wits. Lung Feng was also extremely shocked. Previously, he thought that Lin Xian wasn't strong enough. Later, he recognized Lin Xian's strength. Later, he was worried about Lin Xian. Now he was completely stunned. Fortunately, he didn't really fight with Lin Xian that day. Otherwise, he would have lost miserably. Looking at the retreating figures of these people, Lin Xian said coldly, "You can leave, but I can't." Lin Xian waved his hand and grabbed at Chongqing. Chongqing's soul was severely injured. At this moment, he couldn't resist at all. He was instantly grabbed and pressed to the ground. Bing Wei's expression changed. "What are you trying to do?" Lin Xian snorted. "What do you think I'm trying to do?" He wanted to kill me before. Naturally, I can't let him live. If you kill him, you won't be afraid of those great saints outside, right? Feng Zhan was also shocked. This guy is crazy. Although he was defeated, he was still a top expert. He still had a long way to go. If he died now, how could the Long River sect let this matter go? Ancestor, save me. Changqing cried for help in horror. The elders of the Long River sect, outside, shouted angrily, "How dare you!" A great saint waved his hand and grabbed at the ancient land in front of him. However, at this moment, the sky full of lotuses condensed into a sky screen and blocked that hand. The lotus ancestor laughed. "Why? Do you want to fight? Have you forgotten the rules? Previously, when the three of you surrounded Lin Xian, we followed the rules and didn't attack. Now that you want to attack, it's impossible." Chapter 4553. Damn it, how dare you stop me? The great sage of the Long River sect roared. The great sage of the Dark Feather sect also walked out. "So what if I'm stopping you? Come and fight me if you're not convinced." His body emitted a terrifying killing intent. "I'm not afraid of you." The great sage of the Long River sect wanted to join forces with the other two great sages to counterattack. However, at this moment, a roar came from the ancient palace. They all turned their heads, and their pupils shrank, because Changqing was already dead. Lin Xian had destroyed his soul with a single slash. There was no chance of him coming back to life. Damn it! The great sage of the Long River sect roared. How dare he make a move? Bing Wei and the others were also stunned. Their faces were filled with fear. "Ling Gongzi, we've offended you before. We hope you can spare our lives." Feng Zhan also lowered his head. "Indeed, we were wrong. Please forgive us." The surrounding people were stunned. The two experts actually lowered their heads and admitted their mistakes. It was unbelievable. When they saw that Changqing's soul had been destroyed, they all knew that this was a terrifying expert with terrifying methods. If they lowered their heads and submitted to him, they might have a chance to live. If they continued to be arrogant, they might end up like Changqing. Lin Xian looked at these people and said coldly, "If you're willing to submit, I can spare your lives. However, I have to cut off one of your arms and hand over your storage rings. Are you willing?" These people were shocked. The storage rings were their blood, sweat, and tears. However, compared to their lives, they could only grit their teeth and nod. Very good. Lin Xian kept their storage rings and then waved his sword. It turned into sword qi and cut off their arms. "I'll spare you this time. If you dare to go against me again, I can guarantee that you'll end up worse than this guy." The few of them took a deep breath and quickly left. In fact, it was easy for Lin Xian to kill these people. However, he did not do so, because he was thinking about the future. Now that he had offended the Long River sect, the great sage would definitely be hostile to him. If he killed the other two sects, then all the overlords would be hostile to him. That would be very disadvantageous to him and the Xiantian pavilion. Therefore, Lin Xian's son killed Changqing and spared the experts from the other two sections. Presumably, the great sages of those two sects would not continue to attack. As expected, in the distance, the Eternal River sect roared loudly. However, the two great saints from the Ice Rain Palace and the War King Peak came over to persuade them. He had no intention of making a move. The people of the Eternal River sect were so angry that they almost vomited blood. Damn it, didn't we agree to join hands? Why aren't they attacking now? The surrounding people were also amazed. It seemed that the final winner was Xiantian Pavilion. At this moment, only Lin Xian and Lung Feng could stand in the center of the ancient land. Lung Feng could not believe that such a thing had happened. Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked forward with big strides. Finally, he arrived at the center. There was a lake there. An extremely mysterious aura was emitted from it. Lin Xian walked in directly and began to absorb the energy inside. Lung Feng came back to his senses and did not dare to delay. He also walked in. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The energy inside was very large and was very beneficial to one's comprehension of the great Tao. Lung Feng was comprehending here. Lin Xian was the same. He wanted to absorb as much as possible. The great dragon sword spirit was also absorbing the energy here quickly. Lin Xian's strength was steadily increasing. His greatest comprehension was also getting stronger. A month later, Lung Feng came out. He had reached his limit and could not take it anymore. He sighed. Fate had come to an end. He could only leave. He realized that Lin Xian did not seem to have come out yet. He wondered how long this guy could stay here. One had to know that staying here for one more day meant one more day of opportunity. The people outside were also waiting. When they saw Lung Feng come out, they were all discussing. Lin Xian had not come out yet. They wondered how strong he was this time. Those people from the Xiantian pavilion were also surprised. Would he break through directly? If so, it would be too shocking. The elder from the golden light shook his head slightly. It was not that easy. What he cultivated was the divine body. The amount of energy he needed was far greater than the other physiques. Indeed, the power of the divine body was many times that of other people. The power it needed was naturally many times more than other people. Although he could not break through, his strength would definitely increase greatly compared to before. Outside, Bing Wei and the others were shocked. Previously, the other party was already able to fight 3 of them alone. After coming out, wouldn't it be even easier? In the ancient land, Lin Xian opened his eyes. He did feel that his physique and laws had become stronger. This made him happy. Lin Xian continued to push the great dragon sword spirit, allowing him to absorb even faster. The entire ancient land formed a huge vortex and surged towards the great dragon sword spirit. That's great. I wonder how much I can improve this time. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura came from below and slashed towards the great dragon sword spirit. The great dragon sword spirit swayed, and sword chi pierced through heaven and earth. What was going on? Lin Xian was also shocked. He slowed down the speed of absorption, and the terrifying aura weakened. Was someone stopping him from absorbing so quickly? Who was it? He used the heavenly secret divine eye and looked down. He discovered that there was an even more mysterious aura under the ground. Let's take a look. Lin Xian used sword chi to tear open the ground and walk down. He didn't know how long he had flown, but he seemed to have arrived in hell. At this moment, there was an extremely terrifying pressure around him. He saw that there was an even more terrifying great Tao and power under the ground. It was dozens or even hundreds of times more than above. However, he didn't dare to absorb it because there were many coffins below. There were a total of 10. Each of them had an ancient aura and were wrapped in endless great Tao. There was actually someone buried under the ancient land. Who was it? He had never heard of it before. Moreover, it seemed that it was very old. Could it be that it was because he had absorbed too much power with the great dragon sword spirit? That was why the coffins were attacking. Thinking of this, his hair stood on end. At this moment, he took a few steps back. He felt as if there was a pair of extremely terrifying eyes staring at him. Although none of the coffins were opened, the feeling was very real. He couldn't be wrong. Was the person inside still alive? His scalp went numb, and he instantly retreated. As he rose into the air, he felt the pressure slowly weaken. Finally, he returned to the ground again. He heaved a sigh of relief. Now that his physique had become stronger than before, and his dragon soul had also been improved, if he stayed here any longer, there would be unknown danger. Therefore, Lin Xian also prepared to come out. His figure flickered, and he left the ancient land. The people outside were all waiting. When they saw Lin Xian come out, they heaved a sigh of relief. He had finally come out. He wondered how strong this brat was. Countless people looked at Lin Xian's figure flying over with envy in their eyes. Chapter 4554. You finally came out. Jian Wuk and the others also went up to welcome him. The people of the Long River sect looked over with cold expressions. Their genius had already fallen. How despicable! One of the elders said coldly, "Kid, keep a low profile in the future. Otherwise, if you continue to be arrogant, you might fall at any time." This was a threat that made one's hair stand on end. Lin Xian didn't care at all. Let's see who dares to touch him. Old ancestor Dark Feather also snorted coldly. A powerful sage aura swept across the surroundings. Then the two great sages waved their hands. "Let's go." They soared into the sky. Damn it! The people of the Long River sect gritted their teeth. Their great sage said, "Go investigate everything about this kid for me." They had to figure it out. Obviously, they wouldn't let this matter rest. Lin Xian and the others returned to the Xiantian Pavilion and held a banquet. This was a victory that belonged to the Xiantian Pavilion. This time, they had actually defeated the three great sections. Of course, all of this was thanks to Lin Xian. Those sages who didn't go were also surprised when they heard the news. This Lin Xian was actually so powerful. He was simply like a god. Countless people came over to congratulate them. Those people looked at Lin Xian differently. Although he was a newcomer, he was a genius that was even more top-notch than Lung Feng. Lung Feng also came over and apologized first. Previously, he was too rude to Lin Xian. At the same time, he thanked him. It was all thanks to Lin Xian that he had the chance to be tempered by the ancient land. Lin Xian smiled and said, "You're too polite. We're all from the Xiantian Pavilion. Naturally, we have to help each other." Yes, that's right. These people clenched their fists, their faces filled with excitement. When he was free, Lin Xian found Jian Wuk and asked, "Senior, what's so magical about this ancient land? Are there other people living inside?" He was very shocked by those ancient coffins. Jian Wuk said, "This place is very mysterious. Every 100 years, we only work together to open it once. At other times, it's sealed and no one can enter. It's even more impossible for someone to live there. There were some legends everywhere. Some said that a great battle had taken place here. There were also people who said that in the past, this was the place where some peerless experts had lived. Even the young great emperor had been there. However, no one knew exactly what it was." Lin Xian asked, "Did no one investigate? Whether it was the Dark Sky Pavilion, the Long River sect, or the other top sects, they all had great sages. And there was more than one of them. If these great sages joined forces, they should be able to sweep through everything." Jian Wuk said, "Naturally, he did, but he didn't find anything. In fact, back in the day, there was a great sage who tried to force his way through, only to be severely injured. It was a narrow escape. Ever since then, the great sages had been in awe of that place. They only let the younger generation compete for the limelight, but they never took a step inside. A great sage had been severely injured. Lin Xian was shaken. Presumably, it was the aura emanating from the ancient coffin beneath the earth. Fortunately, he did not act rashly back then. Otherwise, he would have been in danger. Shaking his head, Lin Xian did not think about this matter anymore. The other elders also walked over. "Little guy, you're not ordinary. If you have any questions about cultivation in the future, you can ask me anytime." "That's right. I also want to spar with you." The elder from the Golden Light sect also walked over. As for the legendary divine body, he also wanted to see its power. Lin Xian looked at these experts and smiled. "Then, I will disturb all of you in the future." After the banquet ended, Lin Xian rested for 3 days. Then he started to visit the elders. These elders were all very strong. Many of them were at the peak of the sage realm. Lin Xian learned a lot from sparring with such people. Morning. Lin Xian got up and talked about the Tao of the sword with Jian Wuk. The sword qi on their bodies clashed continuously. Lin Xian's sword was sharp and could cut through everything. Jian Wuk's sword qi walked a different path. It was very light and agile, like an antelope hanging its horn, ethereal and traceless. These were two completely different Tao of the sword. At this moment, the two of them were fighting. Jian Wuk suppressed his cultivation. When the two of them fought, the swordsmen were stunned. Jian Wuk was too strong. He could actually compete with Elder Wuk's Tao of the sword. One had to know that Jian Wuk's sword skills were very strong. Although he was only a late-stage Sage King, he could fight against a peak Sage King. He was a top swordsman. There were very few people who could compete with him in the Tao of the sword. Lin Xian also felt a lot. Next, he found the elder from the Golden Light sect to spar with his body. The elder from the Golden Light sect was very excited. Little guy, let's not use the laws. As he spoke, he sealed his cultivation and laws. Lin Xian did the same. The two of them used the power of their bodies to spar and fought for 3 days and 3 nights. It was very carefree. He had never fought so happily before. The elder with the golden body looked up to the sky and laughed. Although he was an old man, there were no wrinkles on his face, other than his white hair. He looked no different from a young man, especially the other party's body. It was too strong. It was like a Vajra had descended. Your little guy is too extraordinary. Jian Wuk's sword is too strong. There are very few people in the Sage King realm who can compete with my body. But you can do it alone. It is really surprising. Senior is too polite. Lin Xian smiled. Purple flames danced in the sky and formed a figure. It was a peerless woman. She had a noble aura. She smiled and said, "Old man, you have been here for too long. It's time for me to spar." Lin Xian was stunned. It seemed that after he displayed his talent, the elders were very interested in him. Not only was the 9-yang divine body strong, its flames were unparalleled. So, I am here to experience it. Endless flames appeared in the woman's hand. Then, they formed a fire phoenix and flew down. Lin Xian used all his strength to activate the 9-yang divine flames to fight against it. Another huge battle. For the next half a year, Lin Xian sparred with these elders every day. Lin Xian was thinking about how to improve on some of the areas where he was lacking. During this period of time, his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. On the other side, the Long River sect was also searching for information about Lin Xian. Soon, all sorts of information about Lin Xian was gathered in their hands. This fella came from another world. Previously, he was a battle servant in the 1,000 Mountain Grotto. Later on, his strength was outstanding. He won the competition for a spouse and became the prince consort. One piece of news after another appeared in front of these elders. The great sage asked, "Is there any more valuable news?" "Yes, there is." The elders below said, "This fella is really gutsy. He fought a life and death battle with an elder of the 1,000 Mountain Grotto. On the arena, he killed the Star Elder in front of everyone. Not only that, he even killed a genius of the Star race. Later on, he was taken away by Jian Wuk. It was said that after Jian Wuk took that lad away, another mysterious powerful being killed an elder of the Star race with a single palm strike. It could be said that this lad had offended Ethereal Peak thoroughly. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.